Hello, everyone. Saeed Sharif. Hello, Professor. I hope you are doing well too. Thank you very much. Si Mustafa Morshid. Thank you. So, hello. Si Mohammed Bouisan. Hello, Professor. Hello, Si Mohammed. Is the voice clear enough? Is the image clear enough? Is there any feedback in this regard, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. So, we have three maybe friends watching us here. Perhaps that's so Mustafa, Muhammad, and so we have more. They are, our friends are, getting into the live one by one. So I would like to thank you all, Si Mustafa, Si Saeed, yes, Si Usama. Thank you for joining. We have Miss Amira Ufqir. Thank you for joining us, Amira. Thank you very much. Despite the fact that I am not that comfortable, given that I worked for the whole day. I got out at 6 o'clock after an intensive day, but this does not will not prevent us from sharing these ideas, which I feel are timely, because a lot of students, doctoral students, and recent doctoral holders, doctorate degree holders, are applying for the job of a teaching position. But this is going to be also useful for anyone with this intent of applying for a job. Okay, so I will share a few points with you here. You may ask your questions, of course, about this. And I have decided to, following, of course, the feedback from a lot of friends whom I met, or who, sent me messages asking me to preferably start with the core part of the live. They were basically talking about the lives that we hold on Facebook. But yeah, only after this core part can we discuss questions and answers. And I responded in the affirmative, for the simple reason that there are people who have questions, or may have questions during the live session, and they might want to ask them after. And there are people who might be interested just in the core part of the live session, and then they may decide to leave. So in response to this request, I have decided to do it this way. So let's just wait until we have around 20-25 members here, who have joined. Then we will, start, with the core part, which refers to the tips of how to, manage a successful interview. All right, job interview for the position of the English language teacher. Okay, Ustadha Zainab, ahlan wa sahlan. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us. Mrs. Iman Brigui, thank you for joining us here. Ustadha Atimad, ahlan wa sahlan. I hope you are doing well. I hope everyone is doing well here. You are 13 to watch this live for the moment. Samia Mus, I think this has to do with Samia Mustaghfir. Okay, good evening, Samia. Thank you very much for joining us. I would like to thank everyone here. So, in the hope that more people will join, so we will spend probably. Well, if there is a question that I can answer, or not that I can answer, I'm not an encyclopedia, but that I can interact with, feel free to use it here. Si Mustafa, you are always helpful. Thank you very much. This is no accident. You've always been generous with your decision to share and to try to promote these videos. Thank you very much. Si Badruddin Traiki, Ustad Badruddin, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, we ran into each other this evening, but it was for a short period of time. So thank you for joining us, Si Badr. Okay. So is there any urgent question that you would like me to address before we get to this, issue of recruitment, which is a real issue, which is there are many students, and I will repeat this idea later on, but there are so many people with very good profiles, but on the day of the interview, because that can be very crucial. The day of the interview can be very crucial. Why can it be very crucial? Because there are, for example, profiles that are so close to each other, and we have to choose one. For example, it turns out that, for example, the good profile, or the candidate with a good profile, does not convince the jury. So everything else, everything that we know about the candidate can be called into question on the day of the interview. Okay, so let's waiting for more people to join. We have only 15 here. I think that if more, the trepidation is that if there are people who would join us after this, they may lose part of what we are going to talk about. Okay, so we have 15 people who have joined us. As I said, let me just copy this. Excuse me, that's going to take probably one moment or less. Let me do it on my mobile, share it in my WhatsApp group, and see if we will have more friends here. That will be good. Okay. Otherwise, if it's just the number, then we can start. We are not. I'm not looking for the numbers just for the sake of having more people. No, it's just that I don't want the ones who will join to miss out on some of the points that we will be discussing. And that's the reason why I have, decided to maybe wait a bit for some time, for some minutes. Let me please just go to the Facebook page. And yes, okay. So let me share this. Anyway, I have only 49 people in the WhatsApp group. Okay, in the WhatsApp, the repertoire, perhaps with some groups. Anyway, so I hope you will help with sharing of the link so that we can start without any hesitations. Okay, Ustad Atimet, Ustad Samiyas, Badruddin, Ustad Morshid, Nathalie Leblanc. Hello. Hello, Nathalie. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for always, for being a fan of the page. Thank you so much. So I hope things will be of benefit. I hope this live session will be of benefit. With 20 people, we can already start. So let's, okay. So we have Kingdom of Animals. Greetings, dear professor. Okay, you must have been influenced by George Orwell. That's the reason why you have chosen that name, I guess. Okay, so greetings, dear professor. Greetings. Thank you very much. Sarah DeVos. Hello, professor. Hello, Sarah. Well, let's start. If the image is clear and the voice is clear, I think I forgot to clean this. Yeah, that's a mistake I made. Oh. So let me just clean the lens. Okay. I will just clean this lens, please. Excuse me. Is it better now? I guess so. I hope so, in fact. Yeah, because I always clean the lens, that's why. Fine. We have 20 students here. 20 students. Sorry, I say students because I have just come out of the classroom. We have 20 followers here, 22 now. So let's just start. Can you see me clearly, or would you like me to clean the lens better? I think it needs to be cleaned. It's clear. Yes. Yeah. Yasin Razouk says yes. Natalie says yes. Clear. Thank you very much. So let me add. This. Okay, I hope it's better now. Thank you very much. Alors, so can we start? Let's start. Okay. So hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. I hope you have had a nice day. And those of you who are applying for the job of an assistant professor of Ustad Muhadir, for example, Ustad Muhadir in English, or an English language professor. But I think these tips can apply to everyone, applying for whatever job that involves teaching. So it can be generalizable, or the tips can be generalizable. You might wonder why I have thought about these things. The answer is that I have been, involved in a number of interviews together with a number of colleagues, and these, what I'm going to say today is something I have gleaned from my experience as a jury member in a number of interviews over the years. These mistakes recur; they occur so often, which means that there is some sort of grammar to these mistakes among the applicants. I'm sure that the applicants do not do this on purpose, uh, especially that some of them, are excellent profiles, but they end up, wondering why they were not taken. It's because there are things that they should not have done that they do during the interview, and there are things that they should do that that they do not do during, of course, the interview. Okay, Ustad Hana Muhammadi, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Nice. So the first thing I would like to start with, I have jotted down, a number of elements to discuss, and some elements feed into other elements. But in any case, these are, as I said, gleaned from my experience as a job, an interviewer and as a jury member during the, uh, I'm sorry, during a number of events. I have to take a dose of coffee because I feel very tired and very sleepy. No, once you submit your candidacy, I will not talk about what you should involve in your file. That's probably for another occasion. But anyway, in a file, we submit anything that we think can help us, can help present our image and market our image as potential candidates for a teaching position. What I'm going to talk about today concerns specifically, the day of the interview. So there are a number of points, as I said, I would like to discuss. Okay, some of which are written here, but in any case, I will most often improvise, but I have jotted them down just for me to, to remember. So the first thing that any candidate has to bear in mind is the fact that if the interview is set at 10 o'clock, you have to be there before 10 o'clock. I have noticed that most students respect this requirement. Why? It's because, when you come from another city and perhaps there is for one reason or another, you get late. Jury members generally understand it when you come from another city and when you are not late for a long time. You're not very late. But the people I know and myself, we would tolerate, a situation where a candidate comes from a remote city, and especially when there are other candidates that we can ask to get into the room. So, but generally, the golden rule is to make it on time. Try to make it on time. Try to make it maybe half an hour, 15 minutes ahead of time. There you will socialize with the other candidates, and you will, probably get rid of a lot of stress and a lot of panic, when you are with the friends who are in a similar situation as you. This is different from when you arrive late, stressed, and afraid that the jury members will blame it on you, and so on and so forth. Therefore, so just to finish with this point, be on time, because being on time will make people understand that you are a punctual person. 30 minutes past 10 is not like 32 minutes past 10. You see? So you have to be really, really, really on time. Do not forget this. The second thing that I would like to talk about, and then move to the more important, there is a most important point I would like to talk about in any case. So the second thing I would like to talk about, the second tip, relates to appearance. What does this appearance mean? Sometimes there are students who come with a type of haircut. While this is strictly personal, while this is a strictly personal, choice, Nobody is entitled to judge you on your haircut. Nobody is entitled to judge you on whether you are clean shaven or whether you have a beard. Nobody. That's strictly personal. However, if things like these are somehow accentuated, somehow your appearing, your appearance is a bit exaggerated, is a bit eccentric. Eccentric means that it's opposite of concentric. That is to say, when people come, for example, with special, they cut, I don't know how to express this, but they shave a part of the head and they have another part and shave. And some people, have these weird, this weird look. Of course, this is rare among the candidates that I have met so far. Perhaps I am exaggerating when I say, but please, this is the message here, is that you need to care about your appearance. I am not saying that you need to spend money, a lot of money on that. A formal dress code, for example, necessitates that you dress in a way that is formal. That's it. There are certain types of garments that may not, for example, be fit for. And this one, there are many students who make a mistake when it comes to this. Instead of wearing a shirt that is normal and cheap, there is no problem with that. See, when I say dress code, when I talk about dress code, I'm not saying that you need to spend, we all come from poor background and we know what it means when you are a candidate. Some of you work, yes, some of the candidates have a job, but there are others who don't have a job. We will not judge them on whether you wear this brand or that brand. But the message I am delivering here is, please get rid of casual clothing. Come in a formal enough, formal enough. I'm not saying, well, you have to wear a tie. You may not wear a tie and you may not have this. But the point is, for example, you can wear a shirt that is normal, that is not, for example, that does not carry, any messages, and you see, and without pictures, for example, here, and without, because that's a formal setting, and people are, the jury members there are recruiting a colleague, and when you are in a formal setting. In spite of you, in spite of me, in spite of all of us, we have to abide by a certain, number of rules. You see? So please pay attention. People can judge you just on your first appearance. Your first appearance. You see? Voila. So you please take this into account. You also need to, this is one thing that I would like to add to this. When you sit, for example, there are candidates who come, and I saw that. I'm not adding anything to this. They listen to you while they are sitting like this or like this. I'm sorry, this is you are in front of a jury. You have to show the. I know that so many candidates, not so all of them, in fact. Yeah, Hasana. All the candidates who do this, they do not do it on purpose. They do not do it as a show off. They do not, but they are like that. But they have to be aware of the fact that there is a sitting arrangement that is formal. For example, the cross-legged position is not a good thing when you cross your legs like that, when you sit like that. When people talk to you while you're looking, at the bulb, upwards. No, or you look at the window outside and you listen to people, or when people ask you a question and then you start fiddling with something or opening a book or looking for something. That's not good. I was angered one day at a candidate. I did not show it, of course, but I really felt disappointed in a candidate like him, because as I was asking him a question, instead of listening, it was looking at something. I don't know. He was looking for something or at something, or I don't know. He was looking for something on a page. I don't know what he was doing, but I felt that he was not listening to you, in total disregard to the situation. So this needs to be avoided. Once you are seated, you are there for an interview. Okay, in less than 1 hour, you will be set free, so you can do whatever you want. You behave the way you want outside. You have the sitting arrangement you like. But once you are there, you have to, to abide by the rules, please. Some some candidates, before I finish with this appearance, I have classified it as appearance. Some candidates have this in mind. I don't know whether they do it on purpose or as a strategy. I really don't know. But when you come into the classroom, you in front of the jury members, and you assume it's people. As I say, I insist on this. أنا كنفترض حسن نية. You see, people come and they believe that they want to project the image not of a candidate but of a colleague. Okay. Yes, we are all colleagues. We are all, but I'm talking just about the situation. And it's not just in Morocco, it's wherever you go, you have to behave that way. So when you go, instead of showing this distance, which is, a distance of respect in any case, the way we show it, we show it because we are it's the formality of the context imposes on us this distance. But when you come and start, doing, a handshake like this with the professor, or you start saying, hey, hi guys, how are you? It happened. It happened on rare occasions, but it so happens. So happens on rare occasions. Yes, but it happens. See? No, when you get into the classroom, you have to show that there is some sort of hierarchy. I'm not going to say superiority because superiority implies inferiority, which is not at all the case in our situation. I mean, between professors and candidates, no. But let's call it hierarchy imposed on all of us. You see? So when you come, you've got to show this type of respect by assuming that the people you have in front of you, 5 people, usually we have 5 people, the 5 people you have in front of you are, hierarchically, a bit, they are hierarchically superior, and I put superior just between 2 quotes so that I will not be understood in a different way. Okay, the situation is imposed on all of us. Sometimes you may have a jury member there who may happen to be an acquaintance. But does that mean that because he or she is your acquaintance, you will go and behave the way you want? No, please. Okay, nice. Yes, Yasin, you can contact me. Yes. Okay, my friends. So we have talked. We are done with this. All right. So let me move, please, to another point. And now I need your attention, please, and I would like you to spread the word to the people you know and the people who you think will be candidates someday. Let me make the point about the fact that شوفوا الله يخليكم, I'm just, it's a strategy on my part so that I can draw your attention so that you can listen. Another strategy is to have a sip from this cup of coffee. Anyway, شوف, when you apply for a position of a university professor and you submit a CV full of mistakes, now I'm not saying that it's a rare. No. The majority of candidates have this. And it pains to see this abominable state of affairs, widespread at the Moroccan university. When you write your CV, my friends, in the CV, you need to show who you are. So let me talk about 2 parts of the CV, 2 aspects of the CV that need to be well thought out. A CV is not just something that you write in half an hour and then you submit. Do not assume that the jury members do not read the CV. If there is one document that the jury members read, it's the CV. صافي سالينا. If there is any document that the jury members read all the documents, just don't worry. But if there is one document on which they dwell, anyway, it's the first thing. The first thing we do is open the CV and read about it and read about who you are. There you are introducing yourself, my friend. You need, number one, you need to include all the necessary sections. What are the necessary sections in a CV for a higher education position of professor at the university? You need personal information. What is personal information? We should know about you personally. There are details that you may not mention, but there are details you have to mention. You've got to mention your age. Don't shy away from age. Because after all, if you don't mention it in the CV, And if I am curious to know about your age, I have to go to the ID card that you have submitted. I have to go to your diploma, etc. So no harm. Mention it in your CV, my friend. You see, phone number, all these information. So you've got sometimes even your marital status has to be there. Okay, so basic information, personal information. Then there will be a section where you mention your degrees. Start from the most recent doctorate degree in, I don't know, can be education, can be in letters, literature, and linguistics. It all depends. English studies. It all depends. Different universities issue different, titles or specializations for degrees. Then in the doctorate, section, in the doctorate part, the doctorate rubric, you have to mention your title, the title of your thesis. Why? Because you are making life easy for the jury member. Okay, and when you make life easy for the jury member, people will say about you that you are professional. See, that's one way of marketing yourself. And when you mention the title, mention the institution that delivered this. For example, Faculty of Letters and Human Sciences, City X, or University X, City X. You see? As a way of marketing yourself, some students get what we call Félicitations jury, or Recommandation pour la publication. Here, while it's not written in a diploma, you may choose to put it between brackets next to your title, so that we will know that your doctorate was hailed by the jury members. Okay? Look at how many details are missed. Okay, good. So this is the idea. And you may mention your supervisor between brackets. Then you move to your master's and then to your licence, the same pattern. For licence, you may choose to write the title of your monograph, even in licence and in your master's, so that we will know what type of areas you are interested in, whether you are specialized in one single area or you have multiple. Of course, neither is better than the other. To each, it has advantages and disadvantages, but that's not the issue. The issue is the issue of clarity. Do not hide, the necessary information about you. Okay, nice. So then after you are done with these diplomas, these degrees, mention the institutions from which you get them. You see, because sometimes we have these details. There are students who spend the licence years, the masters and doctorate in one institution. This is good. This is information. But there are others, for example, who studied in Agadir licence and then they finished in Marrakesh and then in Oujda. That's also a good thing. But we can, in both, both scenarios can be sources of conclusions for professors. While they will generally do not impact the decision. But for reasons of transparency, the only conclusion that is relevant here is whether you are transparent or whether you know how to present the information in a nice way or not. That's where the CV is important. Then you move to the rubric where you talk about your professional experience. I do recommend these sections to be given primacy in the CV. Professional experience. Some of you, for example, have some of the candidates have taught at higher education institutions, and here there is something I would like to say. As a vitae, for example, if you work, is it better to work within the same institution or different institutions? I would say if you apply for different institutions, that would be so much better. For example, 1 year here, 1 semester here, another year here, and you may keep one institution but the idea is try to diversify. Why? It's because in the rubric that you have, that is referred to as professional experience, I'd rather read sub-components, sub-rubrics in a sense, points, where you have this from 2022 to 2023, a professor vacataire at blah, 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 part-time teacher at, etc., this institution, and the students, the type of students you taught, etc. Because if you do it just be careful, please. If you do it within the same institution, then you have to, if it's for 3 years and you have taught geography students, and you taught Islamic studies students, you taught philosophy students, sociology students, etc., it's better to separate them so that you give value to what you did. If you lump them in one rubric like that, I taught at this at this higher education institution from this year to this year, it's a reductionist way of doing it. It's you're not highlighting it, in other words. Okay, so please do this, because there are chances for you not to teach the same thing. If you teach this year, and I'm talking to those of you who have this part-time job at one institution, mention the type of departments you have been involved with in different rubrics, so that we will know that you have a diverse, diverse experience, a variety of teaching, your teaching experience is varied. Okay, so please take this in one. Take this, I'm sorry, because I said in one, because I read in something here. Anyway, take this into consideration. Thank you. So we are done with this teaching experience. Then you have to move to your publications. Highlight your publications, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who are still, making their first steps into the doctorate program, Allah yarhamkum walidi, s'il vous plaît, try to avoid as much as possible predatory journals. Do you know that it's far better for you to produce 2 articles, in a respectful journal? It's better to do this than to produce or to show that you have published 25 articles, all in predatory journals. You go and you see, for example, look at this, received on Monday the 13th of October, published on Tuesday the 14th of October. What does this tell us? This tells us that there has not been any reviewing whatsoever. Say what you want to say, send it to them, pay them. 2 days later, you will get it. It's like buying the article, not publishing the article. Normally, it should be bought 2 articles rather than publish 2 articles. I'm sorry if I am a bit harsh when it comes to these things. At one point in time, we have all been, there was not this culture of predatory journals, but I remember I published a book where I should not have published it, and I admit this, but it was at a time when we did not know about these things, and anyway, there was this idea. There was no culture of predatoriness at that time, but it turned out that something I regret. But I said, well, it's not because I did not do it for any purpose. Not for the purpose of recruitment, not for anything, but it happened. But when it happens once and you withdraw, that's fine, and you are aware, but when you insist and you make, the whole body of your experience, of your publishing experience, related to a predatory journal, especially, here there is Israr al-Tarsum. There is this intention. You see, so please, I'm talking to the beginning doctorate students, please do not do it this way. This is not a good way at all. Okay, nice. So let's go back to the CV. Okay, now look at the publications, teaching experience, publications, of course. And if you have a variety of other activities, you need to mention them. Some of you, for example, have, that's a mistake, in fact. I have to blame you on this. Or for this, and I have to blame this on you, to blame something on someone. Some of you have, spent a lifetime, learning about SPSS, for example, learning about how to analyze quantitative data, and they have used this analysis and this, SPSS and so forth, but they don't mention that in their CVs. You see, so you have failed to market yourself here, ladies and gentlemen. If you have used SPSS, why do you come to the rubric of the competence, skills, and you write Word, PowerPoint, which are now obsolete as skills? Everyone knows that. It's presupposed that you know that. علاش ما كديروش SPSS to me? You may tell me I am not a master of a species. You may not be a master of a species, but you have opened this file and you have entered your data, you have run the analysis. You are a bit, you have one foot there, but you can also say X basis. You can even detail by saying data entry, data analysis, data interpretation, generating tables, look at how much information is missed from your CVs. Okay, you got the point? All right, so I hope I am clear. I'm sorry, my friends, those of you who have written comments, I will revisit them when I am done with this, so that the thread of this discussion of these tips will not be lost. I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but keep commenting. I will surely come back to that. Please like the page if you have not. I see that I have only 20 likes. If you can hear me, please like the page so that the algorithm will improve it and what do we say? Will show it. Will show this page and this live to so many people, to enough people, I say. Okay, and share the link, please, as did Simurshid. Okay, so let's come back to this issue of the CV. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, value what you are good at. I see. I don't know why SPSS is ignored. Is swept from view in CVs. You have to do that. You may tell me, well, I don't have any certificate. But why do you say Word and PowerPoint and everything? And even if you don't have a certificate, you mention it there on the day of the interview. You will find someone to ask you about variable view, data view. How do you do this? How do you enter this data? Difference between categorical, nominal, and ordinal variable, for example. These basic questions. Once you show that you did not lie, it's okay. Usually, when they ask you questions, jury members ask you questions. Many questions are questions to check whether you have lied in your CV or not. Okay, nice. So, and then maybe recommendations for leisure activities and all. I don't think you should really do it because it's almost the same, lecture, écriture, voyage, sport. These are copy paste things. So unless there is something really interesting that you do that. Other people do not do, just to surprise the jury members, maybe. But generally, it's not really, really important. So these are the basic components of your CV. For the shape of the CV, there are a number of models on the net. Pick one and use it. Okay, but please, I have recently come across CVs that are written on a blank paper, white paper. And they start typing without pictures. A picture will do as well, without any picture, without any organizations. Just type the amass information like that, and then they submit it. That's not, again, a good way of doing it. And for the speaking of the picture, please, picture, you are applying for a job of a university professor. Why should I put a picture in which I am seated in a car and maybe having my hand like this and taking the steering wheel like that? No, that's not good. That's not good. Better don't insert a picture than insert the al-iftihad. No, don't do that. So insert something formal. Here I would say most candidates have decent pictures, have formal pictures. It's one way of showing some respect to not to the jury members, but to the situation, to the context in which you are, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, nice. And now I come to what I take to be the most important point about your CV. I don't know how to express myself. So much disappointment. My friend, you are applying for a job position that is very crucial. That is your dream job. I'm not necessarily talking about university, but any job position. People who will get you, will say, welcome on board, or will recruit you, are looking for someone who is professional. They are looking for someone who is organized. They are looking for someone who will not be a source of problems. They are looking for someone who is competent and, as I said, professional. When you write a CV, for example, billahi alaykum, as they say, Nurdin Amrus, for example, you write N in capital letter, not in small letter. Amrus, at least, the A has to be in capital. Believe it or not, we saw many CVs where the family name and the first name are all in lowercase letters. You may say, well, this professor is perhaps outdated. Also say what you want to say. This is a context that imposes it on us. Asmahli, you cannot do that. Mistakes in writing address, mistakes in writing, for example, family name, no spell check, nothing. Spaces, by the way, sometimes you have double space between two words, sometimes you have no space, sometimes you have one space. Catastrophe. There are many people who submit this. Ladies and gentlemen, please revise your CVs. Give your CV to someone to read. Use a model, use a spell check. I don't know why, CV needs some of your time, my friends. CV needs some of your time. You cannot just wake up in the morning and say, well, there is a position there. Let me just draft a CV. And what is catastrophic is that you apply, I'm sorry. What is catastrophic is that some candidates, use the same version of their CV and apply for different institutions. And they ask you a question, why am I not selected? Be who you want. But if your CV is like that, who will dare, call you and make you, entrust you with students and with their future? You're supposed to be meticulous. So show that in your CV, please. I hope you understand. So please, family name, but what needs to be capitalized should be capitalized. What needs not, what should not be capitalized should not be capitalized. Salina, Safi. Then there is something else. The email, my friends, be professional even in your email. I don't know why people still keep writing emails like the white rose at life.fr. اسمحوا لي, that's not professional at all. You see, so you use, Yahoo or Gmail, or I'm not marketing anything, but these are Gmail, for example, is the one I believe is most horrible, type of, email address. And your login name, for example, or your username, you say white rose. And we saw even more catastrophic names like these for the email. That's catastrophe. Sorry. Use a professional, even username, like parts of or your family name and your first name, or part of your first name. Anyway, it should remind the reader of that email of your identity. Your professional identity should be there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All in all, your CV needs to take a lot of your time. I mean it. I should have said enough of your time. I say a lot of your time, despite the fact that on the face of it, it looks like it's easy to write a CV. And it is easy to write a CV, but it takes a lot of revision, reordering the sections, mentioning the relevant information. Okay, vacataire à la faculté des lettres, fin, which institution, what did you teach exactly, etc. Okay, so let me just finish with this idea of the CV, and now let's move on to the famous question that is asked in practically every single job interview, the famous introduce yourself. And here, this is look, this is your oral skills are most visible in this when you answer this question. Some students don't make this mistake, dear friends. Do not make this mistake. Do not make this mistake. When they ask you to introduce yourself, do not to reproduce what you have learned by heart. So many students prepare texts in which they introduce themselves. They learn them by heart, and when they come they of course they expect this question. Well, my name is da, 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 da. I was born and brought up in this city. My baccalaureate degree, da, da, da. I have the licence degree, da, da, da. My doctorate degree, I taught here, I taught there, da, 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 da. When it comes to the second question, you will hear, how can I put this? Second question. Ajib. What is the solution here, my friends? The solution is yes, prepare and expect questions. Yes, rehearse. C'est quoi rehearse? Rehearse means when you are at home, you try to think of this question and try to answer it without necessarily learning things verbatim, that is to say, by heart. Don't do that. Rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse. I always say that. For your defense, rehearse, rehearse. For presentation, rehearse. You see, for the interview, of course, rehearse, but for all the questions, not just for this. Well, we will come to what I mean by all the questions here. Worse is the situation where you find a candidate come in with things that are written, and they introduce themselves, they read. No, we are not. That's seen in the CV. Why are you reading out to me? Tell me orally, because I am here to test your oral competence, the ability to talk about yourself. That's a skill in itself. You see? So please avoid this as well. Okay? I think I forgot something very important, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to appearance. Okay? Apart from the fact that you have to come in a respectful, attire, and you have a sitting a position which shows respect and so forth. One thing, when you get into the interview, do not go to the interview empty-handed, ladies and gentlemen. That's not respectful. Take with you this, a pen, and papers, if only to show, to do this as a sign of respect, because you see, you will hear questions from the jury members. You need to jot them down. Chances are that there is a jury member who will ask 3 or 4 questions. How can you memorize them? And even if you are able to memorize them, that's not a good idea at all. Show respect by jotting down that. Even if you jot down the keyword, that's fine. But coming like that, leaving everything outside and coming, empty-handed, no, it's not a good thing. You have to avoid this in an interview. Okay, good. For the speech tempo means whether you go fast or slow, try to keep, the same speech tempo. I am alluding here to the disparity between your answer to the first question, where you speak fast and apparently spontaneously, and when you come to the other questions that you did not perhaps expect, you start, stuttering and stammering, and you see, it's not good. It's normal to stutter, but do not show that you can speak, so fast and here and then here. It shows that you have learned by heart. You see? So the best way is to rehearse. Best way is to rehearse, right? Good. Let me move to, as the jury members ask you the questions, by the way, for voice, you have to speak louder than you do normally, but not too loud. Being too loud, that's, again, a problem, and it happened anyway. So you speak, in a way that makes your voice audible. Sometimes we have this belief that we are loud enough while the nearest, person to us cannot hear us. Maybe because there is this, problem of panic, and that's quite normal. But please speak more loudly than you usually do. If you speak with level 2 outside, he'll speak with level 3. Okay, nice. Introduce yourself. Yes. Fine. So I think I talked about that. And so I talked about voice, but also please bear this in mind. We do it unconsciously. We know that it's not easy to. I'm saying this, but it's not easy. I know, but try to just be aware of it. If there is a jury member to the extreme left who asks you a question, when you try to answer this jury member, don't just look at him like this, because it's the jury that has asked you, not just that member. So when you answer, try to to look at everyone there. You focus on the one who asked you the question, but from time to time, just look at the others, members of the jury. That's okay, a sign of respect. Of course, you don't forget to draw a smile from time to time. Don't frown like this. Okay, good. Okay, now we go to the other point, ladies and gentlemen. Now we go to the other point. وهنا مربط الفرس. My friend, when you apply for a job interview, the people in front of you, whether you like it or not, may be expert. They're all experts in your field, in the things that you know. I don't want to highlight this, in a sense. I hope you understand me. But assume that they may know as much as you know. Assume that pour ne pas dire, they assume that they know far better than you do. Yalla. You see, there are people who come, for example, to, and it happened to me, it happened to me, as a jury member. There are people who come and assume that you don't know anything about the topic, and they say, I am a specialist in this and this. You see, there are people who make this, put this on their CV. They teach spoken English. Spoken English. When you ask about the difference between houses and cats, you are looking for an explanation. They are unable to do that. But you said you are a good user of, you are a good professor. You've been a successful teacher of spoken English. That's an example of so many examples, among so many examples. You understand? So please, there are people who have taught reading comprehension for years. When you ask them about, to explain to you pre-reading activities as scaffolding, for example, they may not be able to answer this. Situations like these, I'm not saying this happened. This example of reading is just my own example. But for the one who spoke English, it happened. It happened. And similar other situations happened where the candidate, boasts. I say boast because even sometimes the gesture that boasts over, being a specialist in an area, you ask him or her the simplest question and then they are blocked. Conclusion. Say only the things that you know. Say only the things that you know. And assume that the people there in front of you, and I always assume that they are more knowledgeable in my lifetime as a candidate. Assume that they are more knowledgeable. Even if you think you are the best, but assume that they are more knowledgeable. It's very embarrassing to say that you are a specialist in this area, or you have taught this for 20 years, for 10 years, for, I don't know, for 3 years, for 3 semesters, and receive a basic question that you cannot answer. Very embarrassing indeed. So please keep a low profile. Say only the things that you think, apply to you. The things that you cannot apply to you, don't, please. Better. A good example is the example of the people who talk about their being specialists in business English, thinking that none of the jury members know about business English. And when they get real questions, they get silent. And when they cannot name, look at this, people assume that they have taught business English or legal English, medical English for years. You ask them a question about a famous textbook, they cannot. See? Normally you should turn a negative point positive. Here, what happens is that some candidates turn a positive point into a negative point. Because they say, I am specialized in this. And the jury member surprises them with a question. And the answer is, well, I am using documents from the Google, from the internet. A teacher who assumes he's a specialist cannot name a book. صعيبة شوية. That's difficult. So please try to avoid these things. If you have taught, a course, you should know the textbooks that are used. Maybe they can ask you about comparing and contrasting, between textbooks. Maybe, I can say they may ask you, for business English, there are people or ESP. I am specialized in ESP, but they cannot define even what ESP means. You see, there is a lot of talking here. So please say, well, I have had some experience, I am learning, that's fine. Nobody will blame you on that. But to go to the point of claiming that you are a specialist at a time when you fail to answer the most basic question, now there is a problem here. Okay, nice. So let me move to another, still within this low profile, ladies and gentlemen. There are so many students. I'm sorry, I say students. There are so many candidates. Okay, who come? They are in front of the jury, and they give the impression that they will transform the institution into the Garden of Eden. تجري من تحتها النهر. I will do this, I will bring you this, I will innovate, I will provide it. Oh, اسمح لي. No, don't do that, please. Don't do that. Instead of saying this, say that you are there to learn. Say that there are your predecessors there. There are people before you from whom you will learn, whether you like it or not. Be who you want, my friends. Be who you want. You cannot outperform the people before you. احنا قاعد نقولوا knowledge you are I don't know, but they have more experience, my friend. They have more experience. They know better than you. They know the ropes, as they say. You see, so when you are fresh from the oven, you see, you come and you say, I will be the agent of change here. Maybe after the experience, you can be the agent of change. But from day one, in an interview, stress that you will be learning. Stress that you will be learning, not that you will be, I don't know, I will transform, I don't know, I am the best, I am. Okay? Also connected to this is the fact that some candidates pump up their profile so much that sometimes they say things that are surreal, that are transcendental. Surreal. You see, there are things that are not probably that do not stand to reason. Honestly, I said that in one of the live videos. When I was answering a question here, but I'm repeating it for reasons of for ease of or for reasons of highlighting the point. Yes, Edie, you are, for example, a specialist in intercultural pragmatics. And during the interview, you say that you can teach 19th century novel, because they say, well, the question is, what courses are you going to teach? And your answer is, I can teach anything that you give me. And the follow-up to the question is, can you teach this? For example, 19th century novel. And your answer is, yes, I can. Is there any more, serious catastrophe than this? I'm sorry. This is something that is very disappointing. That shows a lot of disrespect to the people who are specialized in 19th century novel. غير أجي أقرأ 19th century novel. I'm sorry. This is not a good thing. غير أجي أقرأ media studies. هذا هو le problem. Le problem, c'est que they think that media studies is just Facebook, the youth, how they behave in the. No. There are whole theories behind. So you really need to get equipped with the knowledge. And because you're not a specialist, my friend, you cannot claim to teach that. راه ماشي غير أجي أقرأ ان كور لافا. راه ماشي بقات في الباوربوينت زيد هذه go home ولا presentation week 1 you week 2 week 3 I'm sorry, that's not the way to do it. Even if you do it, that's a good pedagogy. Well, that may be a good pedagogy. You see, انا كنستعمل بزاف هذا, but I'm not showing that my method is the best. I use the pen and the board so much, but there are pedagogies, people are using the PowerPoint. That's very nice. ولكن كاين اللي كيستعمل هذاك الشيء وما كي and people do not know, especially some beginning teachers. I'm sorry to say this. You really need to to stick to what you can teach. Stick to what you can teach. You will not be blamed. And girl, you may say, I teach spoken English. Maybe spoken English, if you come from pragmatics, you can teach spoken English. There's no problem with that. You can teach grammar, composition. You can teach introduction to linguistics because you are a linguist. Yes. You may make some effort later, not on day one, to maybe teach syntax, teach semantics, and very good. بالحق اخويا تقري لي انا culture سميتو ذاك 19th century novel. I'm sorry, you are no. This should not be an answer at all. I am saying this on the occasion of remembering people at in different interviews. People, فكروني نهضر على هذه القضيه ديال applied linguistics. People, someone interested in an issue in applied linguistics. You ask him or her. This happened. We asked the candidate whether you can teach phonology. Of course, I will teach. That was the answer. Of course, I will teach phonology. Of course, I will teach a phonology. And it happened that among the jury members, there is a phonologist, a real phonologist. You know what the real phonologist said to the candidate? He said that I am a specialist in phonology and I do teach phonology, but I still find it difficult to do so. How can you claim that you will teach phonology at a time when you have no single trace of being a phonologist? And he even pointed to me, Abdur B. He says that my name, Amrus, has published a couple of articles in morphophonology, but he cannot, he may not, he will not tell you that I can easily teach phonology, which is true. Why should I put myself in situations like these? What you can teach, you can teach things in your specialization, yes. Encroaching upon other people's territory is both disrespectful and it's a lie on your part. You cannot, my friend. Okay. So stress the fact that you will be learning from your friends, from your colleagues, through sessions of coordination, and you can seek advice. You will have access to their phone numbers, and you will use the email, and you may cross each other in the teacher's room, and so on and so forth. هكا كيكون الانترفيو ماشي انا ربكم الاعلى. سوري استغفر الله اني كنقول هذه, مي كتقول زعما انا هو كل شيء, انا جي لا كاباسيتي دونسيني اي حاجه تعطات ليا. هذه ما خصهاش تكون في الانترفيو. الله يجزيكم بخير. نو بالعكس, انا دائما I advise the people I know, stress the fact that you are there to learn. It's a learning opportunity, because if you have your doctorate, you are not you are not perfect necessarily. Personally, and I'm saying that in this live, and saying in front of the people who are, and I can say that I will never shy away from saying it. Much of the accuracy that I think I have, achieved, I'm still learning, by the way. There are always mistakes from here and there. Much of this has been learned in my career, during my career as a teacher. Teaching is, in the first place, a learning opportunity. The moment you say that you have learned and you have had enough, and you will not, this will show in your classroom. This will show in your classroom. Being a university professor requires the continuous, learning, and it requires the courage to say that I am not perfect and that there are things that I missed out on. Okay, nice. So, and never say, ladies and gentlemen, that you are better than the other candidates, because there is this trap question: what makes you better than the other candidates? You do not say I'm best. I will answer your questions. It's up to you to judge. I cannot judge myself in comparison to the others, for the simple reason that I have not interviewed them. You have not. I don't know them, much academically. or enough academically. And if I fit the position, I would love to take this learning up journey, an opportunity. That's all. Don't say that I am the best and the other ones are. You see, this is again rare. Very few people answer, but it happened. It happened that people say, well, because they are frowning and I am smiling. This happened in an interview. I am smiling and they are frowning. Well, what do you mean? How do you know? Okay, so, and it's unethical to talk negatively about the others because you are treated on an equal footing once there. Nice? Okay, another thing. أنا هذا ميساج للapplied linguists. الله يخليكم. The people who do applied linguistics during your doctorate years, during your master's years, I don't know, during your years. Okay, شوف, applied linguistics is only a misnomer if you have zero knowledge of linguistics. وما أكثرهم. There are people who, for example, who say, well, اسمح لي أنا ما كنديرش هذا الشيء. علاش؟ حيت أنا كندير الابلايد linguistics. وأخويا ما كندير الابلايد linguistics خلاها واحد الأستاذ الله يذكره بالخير قال لك you need some linguistics to apply. If you apply something to zero. You see, so being an applied linguist without knowing what a phonological process is, اسمح لي. Being an applied linguist without knowing the basic representation of a sentence in a diagram, اسمح لي. You are not an applied linguist. If you don't know, basic issues in pragmatics and semantics, bits and pieces from here and there, اسمح لي. You are not an applied linguist. You are something else, someone else. Okay? And there are people like that, it's one way of escaping the fact that, of covering the fact that they don't know about these things is that I'm doing applied linguistics. You see, applied linguistics initially means that you know linguistics and then you apply it to, real life problems. Okay? So I'm just putting this between brackets, ladies and gentlemen. Fine, I will move to the other part. Very few. That's the next point I would like to talk about. There are a number of candidates who apply for a job at different institutions, but they unfortunately forget. هذه يمكن ما عرفتوهاش ياك. They forget to do some basic, Google search on that institution. For example, what's the average number of students? غتمشيو تشوفوا كلمة رئيس المؤسسة يا إما عميد. You will have the basic information. كاين l'organigramme ديال المؤسسة فيها العميد فيه نائب العميد فيه هذه. You should know about these things. What types of courses are taught here and what type of English, for example, is required. You really need to know this. Okay? Because there is always this problem that there is always this, or not always, but most likely there will be this question, why have you chosen to apply for this institution, to apply for a job position at this institution? Okay? So it's good, you surprise, you impact the audience, the jury members very positively when you show that you are aware where you are applying and that you did not do it by, it's not a chance happening. You see, and that you are, applying consciously to this place, aware of the fact that you have this and you have this and you have this and you have. I mean, you have this number of students, you have these profiles, you have these professors, the reputation of professors, for example, etc. So do some, or contact the people at that institution to give you the information, a professor or an administrator, if that's possible. If that's possible. Otherwise, now the internet has solved the problem. So you can do some search, you can visit the website, and you have all sorts of information that you need there. Of course, I'm not going to ask you to read the whole literature about that, but just basic information that will help you show that you have decided to apply for a job at that institution for a good reason. And you see, because of this, and you name it, you can make up, your argument by looking at those details. But anyway, what they want to know is whether you know about the institution or not. Sadly, there are students who are called, but because especially in these years, you have a lot of recruitment, recruitments, and so many students are contacted. Hello, salam alaikum. We are contacting you from the fact of Ada, people who are shortlisted, for example, you know, or they don't know even where the institution resides. Do you understand? You see, so when they are shortlisted, they don't know because they have applied to so many, and they don't know whether, for example, it's the faculty of law in this place or in this place. Is it in the city or in the city? People tend to forget. So please do some search when it comes to you see the institution you are applying for. Okay, it's a pity when the people contact you to say that you have an interview on this date and you don't know where to go. Okay, yeah, you may come from another city, etc., but at least you will know where it is located. And okay, that's what I want to say about this. Please anticipate questions. Anticipate questions. That's a good thing. You anticipate questions. One thing you can do is now with ChatGPT. There's no harm in just just to get inspired about the type of questions, or Google. You can just look for the information, like type what are the most likely questions I will be asked as a candidate, and I'm not saying that you will be asked those questions, but these will help you anticipate some of the possible questions that you will be asked, and try to select a few of them, especially if you have enough time, and try to do as if you are in front of the jury members, and you try to answer the question with the spontaneity that is required. هذا هو a rehearsal. This is a rehearsal, so that when you are put in a roughly similar situation, you will be able to answer in a nice way, in a neat way, in a direct way. Okay, speaking of rehearsals or rehearsal, whether you are, I'm repeating this perhaps, but whether you are preparing for your thesis defense or for any interview or a presentation, rehearsing will do you good, believe me. So try to rehearse, try to rehearse, try to rehearse. Then I think before I'm done with this, the last point, of course, I've not exhausted all the points, but these are the ones that I saw happening. I saw, these mistakes I noticed among the students. That's why I have come over to share this with you. Look, being an applicant for the job of a university professor at the English department, what does it necessitate? Necessitates that you master the language, you master your craft. Even if you are an outstanding researcher, when you come to the interview and start, for example, saying that you answer the questions, but you make serious mistakes. Let me give you some of the examples. Unfortunately, some of the examples that I noticed. Okay. In Monday instead of on Monday. Is that normal? No, it's not normal. If you forget the subjunctive, it's quite normal because it's not frequent. It's although you should know it as a professor, but it's less serious than in Monday. Cafe, coffee. I was preparing in a coffee. Imagine you have this cup and the candidate jumped here and he prepared in the coffee. What does that mean in a coffee? You cannot say cafe. Okay. People who don't know the difference between economics and economic, let alone economic and economical. People who don't know about neither nor, either or. Why? That's too much. That's too much. There will always be this jury member who will ask you this question. Sometimes they just ask you about the grammaticality of a given sentence. The grammaticality. Neither Ali nor Omar is or are. Now, basic question. And yet, believe it or not, my dear friends, there are candidates who are unable to answer this question. When you ask them, What's the simple past of work? They say worked. And those who say worked are unable to explain it. A little less serious than, of course, pronouncing it worked. What am I trying to say here is that you need to monitor your English, monitor your English in the interview. شوفوا مزيان على فكرة السي في راه معروف. The CV is known. You will not say something beyond your CV. But there in the interview, they are mostly testing the accuracy of your English, the relevance of what you did in your CV, whether it's true, you truly did it or not, etc. So here you need to be accurate. One tip, that's a tip I give to the people who ask me, one tip to avoid this problem is what? Instead of giving the impression that you speak fast, خليك من ذاك gotta go. No, I'm not talking about that's good. That may be good English, but if you do it, if you speak like a native speaker, but you end up using catastrophic, producing catastrophic mistakes, اسمح لي ما دير ذاك native speaker. No, you see. So it's better to speak in a slow tempo, with a slow tempo, sorry, instead of saying, I was born and brought up, no, I was born and brought up, it was slow tempo, better. Slow and accurate is better than fast and catastrophic. So that's one way of monitoring your English. Don't try to produce information only, how to produce this information, but how can you, how can you achieve this? Unfortunately, this culture, people no longer work together. People do not meet any longer at the university to discuss their problems in the thesis. They do not meet to express themselves in English. How many of you do it here? Nobody would allow a student, a colleague, a classmate to correct his or her mistakes. That's what has led to this abominable state of affairs where students, where English fails a lot of students. It fails them. Their linguistic competence fails them in an interview. You may say it's panic. Yes, it is panic. But when things are automatized, even if you are panicking, no. Lex, if you feel that you are accurate and you have this self-confidence, you will not panic. You will not. You panic because you are aware of, of the catastrophes you might produce. You see? So the solution to this is تواضعوا شي شوية عفاكم, and believe in the fact that the other people around you, your peers, can help you. How can they help? C'est une relation donnant-donnant, a win-win situation. They will learn from you, you will learn from them. Not necessarily when it comes to the thesis. If you want to hide your thesis, hide it, but use your English, your academic English, and have people, say, for example, I remember I did it with a colleague who may be watching me here, a close friend, now a colleague. We started this tradition for a long time ago. Another colleague, another university, we used to meet less frequently, but with this colleague here that I'm talking about, we started it, and both of us used to make catastrophic mistakes in writing, in grammar, and pronunciation. And so this colleague stopped me one day, said, Nordin, please, if you notice any mistake that I have made, and I am in front of I am among a group of classmates or with teachers or in a conference in public, stop me and correct, that mistake for me, and I will be very grateful to you. And I replied, please do the same. Why? Because it's not to assert ourselves, because we always believe that learning is a lifetime journey. So we did this in my master's years, and in his master's and then doctorate years, we used to do this without any problem whatsoever. You see? Now, if I need anything edited, if I write anything, I produce any written piece of work, for a conference or any abstract, I have to send it to this person here, to this friend, to this dear friend and colleague, and then he would respond, and he would certainly mark certain inconsistencies there, and I will do that. I do the same when he would like to, you see, when he would like me to look at something that he has produced. It continues to be like that, and we benefited. Sarah, we benefited. In our job interviews, we were judged, good enough, not to say outstanding. We were not outstanding. Anna, I was not outstanding, but I was fairly better than the other candidate. I was judged, not I was fair. No. People chose me because later on I learned that it's thanks to the accuracy. And I don't claim that I'm accurate. There are mistakes that due to tiredness, due to, there are things that there are errors that we might produce. We are not native speakers after all, but we should not tolerate mistakes. It does not mean that I am tolerating mistakes. No. It's normal, yes, but when they are frequent, when you are in an interview, you have to monitor. A mistake can be produced when you don't monitor it, but when you are in a situation where you need to marshal all your energy to answer a question both accurately and appropriately, their mistakes are not there. One mistake, yes, we can, but when you say in Monday, and then you say in a coffee, and then you say in the Department of Economy, اسمح in less than 1 minute, you are making 3 mistakes that are not typical of a good user of the English language, ladies and gentlemen. Is that okay? Nice. So I hope I have, I think I have exhausted the points I wanted to discuss with you. Sorry. There is something else. Please, it's out of good faith. I don't know that people mean to be arrogant. هاد الارروغنس هضرنا عليها. Don't show that you are arrogant. واخا تكون انت احسن من زعما you feel that you are better than the other. Don't show that you are arrogant. Don't show that you are arrogant. Okay. Some students unconsciously, you ask him a question or her, and you hear saying, that's a good question. Please don't do this. Don't evaluate people's questions because they take it as an offense. I know that you do it because you are happy that they asked you a question that you think you can answer. Psychologically, it's like that. We are happy, but that's a good question. Things like this are not. Try to control, your gestures. Okay, thank you. So I have exhausted this. I'm not saying that I have. Sorry, I have exhausted the points I have, but I have not exhausted the do's and don'ts of an interview. So I have talked about these things. I will leave maybe the live, this video there. So if you would like to go back and watch it. Well, let me now go to answer some of your questions if they are here that are related to this, and then we move to something else if you wish. Okay. Hello, Professor. Okay. I'm just looking for hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. The ones who said hello at the beginning, thank you very much for joining. Our live. Yes, we do. Hello, dear Professor. Please, how can I message you? So I said for Mr. Zouk, you can just send me a message on Facebook. Okay. See, Ashraf Gad. Yes. I will keep it. Yes. Something important to call the last degree up to. Okay, to call the last degree obtained doctorate instead of PhD. Yes, there is this misuse of the word. Now in Morocco, we are not talking about PhD. PhD is another system. Now what we have is a doctorate degree. Okay, so it's un doctorat national, un doctorat. Donc, je suis titulaire d'un doctorat. I am holder of a doctorate degree. PhD, it used to be the term when we had DES, etc. So I close this. So you are absolutely right. That's the more accurate term, despite the fact that when people will accept PhD, I never use it, but I don't judge the people who call it PhD, but it's just a matter of careful usage of the term. Hello, Professor. Thank you again for the initiative. What are the most important components or ingredients that make up a strong academic profile? I may repeat bits and pieces of what I have said. See, Mohammed Lazraq, an academic profile is not a Shakespearean profile, is not a perfect knowledge profile. These are science fiction. Um, a good profile for an English teacher at the university, you need to be equipped with the following: enough experience, that goes without saying, شوية دي vacation هناك, publications, etc. Know what you have, know what you have published, know what you have published, know about your thesis. It's a shame to be asked about your thesis, you know, while you cannot answer, questions. So please have this, refresh your memory when it comes to your thesis. Don't spend the nights and nights rereading it, of course, but know your شوف لا تشنو فيها. Know your objectives, know your methodology, know your results. Point final. But apart from that, سي الازرق, سي محمد الازرق, for English أنا بالنسبة لي decent English is a requirement. Decent English is ماشي غير requirement, is the number one requirement. The idea that هذاك العهد فات فاش كنت الاكيوراسي، لا اخويا لا، اسمح لي، احنا في academic context. If you speak like an American or like a British or like any other native speaker, that's good. I'm not saying that's not good. That's very good. بالحق اخويا, that's not what is needed. What is needed is accuracy first. Be accurate in your pronunciation, in your grammar, in your choice of words, and then, speak like a native speaker. So what makes a good profile for an English teacher is English itself. English. Written English, spoken English, formal academic English. That's what I'm, Please, those of you who are still in the doctorate, please try to invest in accurate, formal, and academic English. All right? Good. See, Mustafa Murshid says, something else is that candidates should have a Google Scholar. See, Mustafa, well, it's not a requirement actually, Mustafa, but that if you do it, if you have it, if you have ORCID or Google Scholar, it only adds, to your value, yes, but it's not really a requirement. People may not, for example, fail you because you don't have Google Scholar. Contingent on you to answer the questions correctly. You see, but if you have it, it means it's an added value, of course. So anything that will market you better, you include it. So, Mustafa, while it's not really necessary at this stage, the stage of being a candidate, it is, it will certainly be an added value, and it will show that you are, an established scholar already. Thank you, Mustafa. Okay. Yes, see, Ashraf Bihman, you are absolutely right. So you confirm what I said. Thank you. Botaito says it should be personalized for the job you are applying for better. Let me tell you about two candidates whom I met years ago. The two candidates are of two types. A good type and a less good type. The good type, we met these candidates as a jury at an institution. It was her first interview. And she said that, and she started panicking, but we tried to, make her at ease, because it's rude to make people cry and ask them questions. I'm not against that approach, and I don't think that this is the approach that is followed. Anyway, of course she did not make it, and she was aware that she would not make it, and she made the point that that's her first interview. She could not answer a number of questions, but she received feedback from the jury members. She jotted them down. All right, good. A few months later, I happened to meet her as a jury member at another institution in another city. The candidate came with a remarkably improved CV. Remarkable improvements. Of course, she did not make it because there was a candidate maybe who was more convincing than her. But she jotted down the remarks of the jury members. A couple of months later, she was the first ranking at another institution, and now she is a very successful teacher. هذا نموذج. هذه نموذج. نموذج ديال الناس, because in an interview you also get feedback. When people ask you, when people tell you that your CV is catastrophic, اسمح لي, you go and work it out. أنا نموذج تاني was totally different. This is how you write your CV. This is what you should do. This is how you should answer. We gave him advice. And I met him on 2 more occasions. Well, same CV, same answers, same. Finally, he was recruited somewhere, but this is the idea. The idea is that you need to get some feedback from your interviews, and it's not a failure anyway, because this is like optimality theory. You have all the candidates. شوف اللي وصل ذاك المستوى يدير الدكتوراه يحط لا كانديداتور, it means he's a good profile. دابا احنا jury members choose on the basis of what? The one that is most convincing. It's competition. There are criteria. You take the criteria, you call 3 candidates, and the one who is more convincing, the most convincing, they take him, and they have a waiting list. One in the waiting list. That's all. So it's not a fail or pass. It's how, where you stand in this hierarchy of students, that where you stand among your competitors. That's all. All right. Thank you. So family name, first name, etc. Yes, I think that was a comment in reaction to something I said before. Dua Matawi said improvising. That's true. It's good to improvise, not just in interviews, but in your life. Look, when you are a teacher, and it happened to me so often, I get questions that I did not expect in that course, that I have never expected in my life. But you have to. So I often try to provide elements of the answer, saying that we will maybe look for further details in answer to this question. But you have to have this spontaneity. It's one of the key characteristics of a successful teacher. Be spontaneous. بالحق ما تقولش wrong information. It's catastrophic when you say wrong information to the student. What if the student, after a few months, after 1 semester, discovers the total opposite of what you said? That's not good. Okay? So, improvising, yes, that's true. Improvising it should be the motto in your life. Yes, you need to improvise because there are unexpected situations that you need to deal with. Si Mustafa says, avoiding monotony. Avoiding monotony, maybe in the answer. I don't know why you said that, si Mustafa. Perhaps I said something about perhaps the tempo. I really don't know. Okay. Barok says, good evening, professor. Good evening, my dear friend. Hana Mohammadi Ustada Hana says, Madame et Monsieur, je sais tout. Yeah, Madame et Monsieur, je sais tout. So means Mr. I know it all. That's not a good thing, of course. So I'm sorry, I may skip quick reactions because they are just confirming something I said before. No, okay. I'm looking for questions if there are any. Tick, 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 tick. Mustafa, I was just having a rehearsal with Dr. Muhammad. Okay, I wish you all the best of luck, inshallah. Yeah, it's good. I see this friendship that has developed between you and Si Muhammad. And I'm very glad to see, a pair of students, collaborating and having this good link, of friendship. This is really nice. So just keep, this nice link, because you will benefit each other later on. You will exchange, materials. You will, inshallah. I wish you all the best, all of you. All right. So, Sid Zrak, did you benefit from your past experience as a teacher of English when you embarked? Yes. Si Muhammad Zrak is asking me this question, and I would say yes, Si Muhammad, yes, to a large extent. Yes, to a large extent, yes. Have I ever made mistakes in teaching? Yes, I have. Have I learned from them? Yes, I have. I assume responsibility. You see? Were there things that I did not know about English grammar and some of the vocabulary? Yes, yes, that's quite normal. But basic grammar, هذه لا محيدة عنها. It's a requirement. But some peripheral issues develop like that. Okay, so I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot at the level of when it comes to class management, when it comes to delivering the contents, when it comes to the exams or examinations, when it comes to at a number of levels. شوف, the professor who does not learn from his experience, I'm sorry, he or she will not develop, he or she will not be appreciated. اسمحوا لي. هذاك لا روتين بحال هذا العام الجاي هذا, it's not really good. Someone has to look for ways of improving his practices, his teaching, and he or she should have the courage of saying, well, this semester I have made a mistake, I should not repeat it in the next semester. Okay, good. So yeah, well, Rox, please leave the video so that inshallah, yes. Si Ashraf Al-Khalifi, Mr. Ashraf is with us. Thank you for joining us. How many articles should a candidate write before applying for a teaching position? Si Ashraf, there is no number, but the principle is that a small number of articles, 3, 4, 5, let's say, that have targeted, renowned journals, respectful journals, are better than 25 or 30 that are عشان أقول لك published, by predatory journals, publications from predatory journals. أرى كنشوفوا غير في كنديروا الاجتماع كنقول لك شوف, كنقول أرى عندكم أصحاب لكم ما كنشوف, أرى كلشي كيتشاف we look at all documents. كتقول how come that هذا received on Monday, published on Tuesday. ايش كيعني هذا, ايش كيعني? You see, that's and made online on the same day. And there are conferences in some countries outside of Morocco. You go and you attend the conference and you have a 3-day stay there in that city so that you will come back with the article in your hands. Yes, sorry, that's العبث. Should not be like that, please. Okay? And there is another question similar to this. Should I publish from my thesis? Yes, you should publish from your thesis. Why should you go to another field and start reading about it from scratch? No, publish. Articles should normally spring from what? From what you have in the making. From your doctorate, for example, an aspect that you have reviewed from the review of literature, take something from that review and publish it and mention, it's a nice tradition here. This chapter is part of an ongoing research on blah, 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 blah. An ongoing thesis on the acquisition of blah, blah, blah. What have you published? Have you published any methodology? No. Any data? No. Just a review. You reflect on an issue. That's a publication. You see? It's easy. Easy publication. It does not make a lot of effort. If you find a problem in methodology, you write about it and you publish it. And you make the point that this is part of an ongoing research or an ongoing thesis. You see? So it's good that Si Ashraf has asked this question. All right. So let's move on. Il faut garder une posture professionnelle, ça c'est sûr. A professional posture is necessary, of course. Not like that. We saw people. Okay. There is even a candidate who once asked, do you remember, in a very direct and rude way, we do not say like that. You can ask politely, there is no problem, but to say افتح عافاك ولا الله يرضى عليك. I don't know what the person told me, because he was the one there who was it, you remember. Okay, sorry. I can't agree more. Si Ashraf, Sibu Knifi. Hello, Sibu Knifi. Are you ready for your defense? So I like it. I prepared the coffee. Okay, we heard this. Okay, nice. So could you please talk a little about situational questions? Yes, there might be questions that are situational. That is to say, for instance, you expect this, of course. They can ask you, for example, how to teach the passive voice, or imagine we are students and you are the teacher. Start, your class with us. Teach us passive voice. Or we are students in front of you. Teach us a reading comprehension, text, or teach us how to write a paragraph. Oh, by the way, that's the question I was asked. I was asked this question, and I was even given this can chalk. I got the chalk in my hand, and the jury member sent me to the board asking me to teach composition, to teach, I'm sorry, paragraph writing, paragraph, how to develop a good paragraph, like that. And I started أنا بنية ديالي كان I remember that very well. It was a nice experience from which I learned. And I remember I was asked a question. This is just to share with you. A jury member asked me this question: what are your weak points? What is your weak point? And this professor, whom I respect a lot, he said, one of my weak points, his weak points, he talked about himself. He said, for example, one of my weak points is that I get angry when students arrive late into the classroom. And my answer, this is an example of a situational, question. Now, my answer is that why do you consider it, sir? For me, it can be considered outside that can be considered a weak point, but that can also be considered a strong point, so that the students will learn the lesson, and they will not the lesson from your showing anger on one occasion, and they will attend on time. And they started laughing. I remember, sometimes there are questions that you may not expect, but that's why someone here talked about spontaneity. It's good to develop this sense of spontaneity, but it's also good to say I don't know. Sometimes when you don't know, you say I don't know. I don't know هكذا. I am afraid I don't know. See, there is a difference between I don't know and I am afraid I don't know, or that's something I will have to check later on, or I would like to, because I don't know, I would like to hear an answer from you. We can, you can say that without any problems. Okay, so behavioral ones. Situations. How to teach. The how to teach questions. Yes, they are likely. And also, if you have, for example, disruptive behavior in the class, how would you deal with that? If you have students who are making noise, this is a question that is often asked, and you have different answers, in fact, to this. One of which is to make the rules clear from the very beginning, and try to talk to the student individually. But for students, it's not a good idea. I don't advise teachers here, or beginning teachers here, to get in conflict with a student and to tell him in the face in front of his friends. That's not a good thing. It's very embarrassing for him, and this student will certainly change. Let's say not certainly, but will highly, likely change his bad behavior. Let's say bad between brackets. If after the class you talk to him individually, it will make a difference. But if you talk to him while he is, with his classmates or her classmates, then the situation, it's like declaring a fight with him or her, and things may not turn out to be. But so anyway, you are asked this question. Always go the diplomatic way in your answers. Okay, this is a good question. Is used with good intention, yet it does sound judgmental. It seems like it's fossilized among the candidates, especially the teachers. I don't know which one you are talking about. See, Muhammad Zraq. But anyway, fossilize the mark teachers. I don't know what. So if you would like to type it so that I can get hold of it. Miriam Aroub says, does volunteering abroad and an English teacher valuable move if... Sorry, let me read it again. Miriam Aroub says, does volunteering abroad as an English teacher? Yes, yes, it's a teaching experience. Yes, it is a teaching experience. So whatever activity you do, volunteering or working with doing association work, work with an association, you see, the condition is to get something that proves it. Okay, that's all. They may ask you questions about that. In fact, what did you do in volunteering? Just to make sure that you did not invent this activity, because we don't know. We don't know. Sometimes we ask just to check whether this was done really or not. Okay, so Mariam, yes, I agree with you. Yes, yes, I respond affirmatively that volunteering is part of your experience and they make up, they add to the value of your profile, of course. Yes. Yeah, Burox, you taught me composition, prof. I'm sure you did well on your interview. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, that's a nice thing to hear from my former student. Ashraf Bihman says, I heard a jury member ask the candidate that he's teaching when four students came and complained about the hygiene of their classmates, and she's a girl. How would you handle it? I'm afraid I need to reread this. I heard a jury member ask the candidate that, you mean whether, or that she is teaching when four students came and complained about the hygiene of their classmate. And she's a girl. If I get your answer, your question well, see, Ashraf, I'm afraid maybe I am tired. I could not get 100% of this, but I guess you're talking about a situation where you have a teacher and you have people coming to complain about someone who lacks in hygiene or complain about the hygiene of their classmate, and she's a girl. How would how would you handle the situation? Well, there are many ways you can handle the situation, except to tell the lady that they complained about, okay, that she has these characteristics of not caring about her hygiene. But they can, if both of them are females, I mean the one talked about and the teacher, then females can talk about. It's more comfortable when a female talks about these things with another female. Otherwise, the teacher maybe, I don't know, can find a way of. But whatever happens, talk with this lady that they complain about should be individual, and there should be a message also to the people who come to talk about their friend as lacking in hygiene. That's these students. All that they need to do is change, the place if they feel that they are disturbed. If they don't feel that they are disturbed, that's not their business in any case. You see, and after, what is important is not to embarrass this lady, and that's it. Try to avoid embarrassment in the whole process. Don't embarrass anyone. You may talk about them. You might talk to them. I'm sorry. Don't tell them in the face, as I said. No, talk to them separately. If these are, if you think that this would lead to a good result. But I don't know. They complain about the hygiene. Does it hurt these students or not? Does this lack of hygiene hurt the student in one way or not? After all, it's not their business. أنا يجي وعندي يقول لي lacks in hygiene. فاش ضرتك أخوي? You see, you change the place, and so you should not encourage people to complain about each other. Okay, nice. So I'm sorry to answer this way. I don't know if you are satisfied with this, Mr. Ashraf. So we have, I'd like to hear your interpretation. Safi, see, Ashraf, I think I may have missed out on some of the details you want to say, but that's what I understood from your questions. So praise publicly and criticize privately. That's good. That's nice. Yes. Sibuk feel like your students, you are making sessions so enjoyable. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Si Mohammed. Barakallahu fik. People, are saying good things about me. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this is a good question. Said in a formal setting. Example, did you remember? I have lost the thread here. See, الأزرق is a good question. The good intention does not. It seems it like fossilized. I am afraid I lost the thread here. Never mind. I apologize, see, Mohammed. I still cannot get hold of the whole question. Okay. Ikram, do you have Instagram? Yes, I do. I don't publish so often on it, but some short videos that I have on Facebook, I also post them in Instagram. So if you would like to join and add to the few members that I have there, that will be good. So that will encourage me to hold live sessions also on Instagram. There is no problem doing that. Okay. TikTok, Instagram, it's a good way of. So what essentially is to make good use of them rather than just encouraging futilities. All right. How to make a positive impression in the interview? Si Muhammad is asking this question. How to make a good impression? Good impressions are made. Number one, can the impressions that are first impressions, first minute impression, or first second impressions. The look first. Rakma, the look. Number two, draw a smile from time to time. Don't frown like that. Look at people when they ask you. And accurate English. And try to learn to say, I don't know if you don't know. وغير بالحق ما تقولوش I don't know directly هكا. Because when you say I don't know, it's like you're not giving value to the question. I am afraid I don't know. I promise I will look for, But you can also, when you say, you express this idea, now, would you kindly illuminate me on this? Would you kindly let me know? Because this is also a learning opportunity for me. Try to spread the idea that you are there for learning and that you are a lifetime learner and that your doctorate does not mean that you are the perfection. هذا هو الواقع. الحاجة الخايبة هو when you get a doctorate degree and you think that you are مع شنو. لا سيدي. You may be an excellent, I don't know, individual, you may be outstanding, but it doesn't mean that you are not there to learn. بزز منك تعلم كاين شي حوايج خصهم يتعلم. You have to learn. And you have to respect the people before you. And respect does not mean it means just recognize their being once your professors, for example, or they're being more experienced than you are, and join their as a beginning teacher, you have to join coordination meetings, and you have to ask questions, and you have to seek advice from people before you, and that's what will make you a professional teacher over the years. Classroom management has become more and more challenging. See, Ashraf, yes, it has. It takes a lot of charisma. It takes a lot of, patience on the part of the teacher, but there is always one way out. Different people can manage. Different professors can manage this differently, but generally at the university, this loose behavior is not really, is not pronounced. Why? It's one explanation is that people are looking more forward, to their future. Many of them see that after 2 years they will have obtained, or in 2 years' time they will have obtained their degrees, and that they are maybe. That's what I explained, because I don't know, but at the place where I teach, all my students are mature and they show a very high level of maturity and a lot of willingness to learn, and they are very happy when they learn something new, and some of them are even grateful that I taught them something. I'm not talking just about my classes, but also from it just happens that sometimes we have overcrowded classes. Okay, certain semesters, some certain courses here. Sometimes, sometimes this misbehavior happens, is noticed because, for example, we speak very slowly in very low voice. هو اللي جالس لهيه وما فاهم والو وما كيسمعش الأستاذ اش كيقول. What would you expect him to do? And think of ourselves when we were students. When a professor speaks very slowly, it becomes monotonous. And honestly, that's self-criticism. Okay, and the message to the professor. This is a detail that they may not, think about, but voice plays a crucial role. باش تضبط القسم. شوف, a student has taken, the bus or the tram, or taxi to come to the class. If he or she feels that the teacher is giving a useful piece of information and is using his voice, and they are unlikely to, to behave like adolescents. I think this is part of the reason why students get, somehow misbehave or make noise, as we say. It's because they are not dominated by the voice of the teacher, the presence of the teacher in the classroom. Teacher has to go, to be active and not to sit in the chair that you have there. I'm not showing off, but I rarely use it. You see? It doesn't mean anything to sit there and talk to them word by word. Of course, they will feel monotonous, and you will get, the consequences that they will make noise. That's for sure. Okay, nice. So let me move to the other. Okay, yeah. See, Ashraf, I hope I have reacted to your question, your statement here. Si Mustafa says, do those candidates who have papers published in Scopus, Web of Science, index journals have better chances in recruitment than those? That's absolutely true. That's true, of course. Of course, if you have an indexed journal, I'm not saying that you will automatically win over the others, because there are other criteria. But when it comes to the section of publication, jury members do, check whether this is indexed or not indexed, or this is predatory. Of course, in this regard, yes, I fully agree with you. There is nothing to hide in this. Okay, nice. So not stand higher chances when it comes. Let me make the point اللي باش ما تفهمش غلط, huh? They do stand higher chances to have a good grade when it comes to this rubric of publication. Because it is teaching higher education, there are a lot of criteria that jury members use. Okay, nice. But I'd rather see Scopus Web of Science than see predatory journals. Ikram says, give us advice. Advice about what? Give me ask a specific question, Ikram, and I give you advice. I think maybe this is a reaction to something I said before. I really don't know. Zuhair Izahwani says, why would the university professor go into these details with students? Our professors used to enter the classroom to give a lecture and leave. Discussions are always restricted to the topic of the lecture. Yes, that's absolutely right. I think, now if just the teacher wants to just solve a problem in a very friendly way, but I do agree with you that and now I reacted by saying that the teacher, if they are female, they can talk. If the lack of hygiene disturbs the student, and now the teacher can talk to the student in question if that's a serious thing. But if they come to talk about a matter that does not relate to the teacher and that does not disturb the class, of course I would agree with you. So the job of the teacher is to discuss issues that relate to the course. Okay, and there are places, in some countries, where the teacher is strictly prohibited from talking to students after the class is over. You see, once you finish, don't receive questions. You leave. But we do that here because some students fail to understand something. Some students have other concerns. Some students want to ask a question about their research. And so we do have this. Okay, good. So I fully agree with you. سي زهير الزهواني أنا بتفق معك أخويا 100%. That's true. If this does not affect the course in the classroom, yes, the students should not dare talk to the professor about their classmate. Of course, that's the thing. Okay, so Si Mustafa, he means that the candidate should not say that's a good question as a response. Oh yes, okay, now I got it. See, Mustafa, voice projection is crucial as a teacher. Absolutely. Absolutely, see, Ashraf. And you have a very long experience in teaching, and you may have noticed that. Okay? La voix, voice, and then voice. You should not be voiceless when you teach. And it's preferable for a language teacher to have some mobility, he or she should be dynamic, unless he cannot do that physically because of tiredness, because of age, perhaps, because then they can take some, from time to time, they can go to the chair. But I wouldn't advise these young people to sit, in the chair while delivering the lesson. It's just a 2 hour thing. You are young, so just go ahead and, all right, nice. Ikram, how can Ella Ikram, you are writing 2 by 2. How can we be good teachers and make students love us? If you want to make the students love you, then you have to show that you love them. How can you show that you love them? رقم 1, come on time. شوف, whether we like it or not, you may disagree with me, but the student can tell whether you love them or not. Loving the student does not mean give inflated grades. هذاك ما كانش ما love ما والو. Loving the student means provide them with the necessary explanation that they need, answer their questions, give them value. The student who is there in front of you is not your enemy and is not inferior. هذا هو المشكلة. The student is not inferior. Think of you as a teacher when you once were in their position. Okay, so you give value to your students. Don't assume that they are nothing and then they do not. They are lazy from day one. They are, unfortunately, we heard stories, different places where the teacher assumes from day one that the student knows nothing. واسمح لي, that's a human being, and you yourself were a student once. So you have to show that you care. That's how we show love to our students. Show that you care. If you are asked, a question, answer it. If you are given something to correct it. Show that you are doing this for their good. And the students can judge. They can tell. اسمح لي, the student can tell whether you are there because you have a salary and you want to make believe that you have taught, or you are doing that because you love your job and therefore you love your students. So love your students by doing what you are supposed to do, by not misjudging them, wrongly judging them, and by giving them value. اسمحوا لي, أنا هذا ان ديتاي عفوا. الديتيل أنا أقول لك شكون سولني. إكرام. Okay, إكرام. For example, نعطيك situation. Sometimes you ask a question and you expect answers from different students. ياك؟ ناخذ 3 students. Student 1, say something which you find correct, say very good. Any other one? Student 2. Student 2 says something totally different from what you have in mind. Wrong. هنا, this is something you should not do as a teacher. ما عمرك, sorry, I'm using Arabic. You should never, ever ignore the student's answer. Ignore the student because his or her answer were wrong. أخي بحاجة يديرها الأستاذ. For me, when a student answers, I can say, well, I put this between brackets. I'll come back to you. Okay. And usually, I don't know if some students have noticed, I try to use some funny ways of showing that this is correct and this is not correct, but not by ignoring the student. Student كيهضر هكا وانا غندور وجهي نخليه مسكين كيهضر. No, that's not good. You are not showing love to your students this way. Give them value. They are there to learn. So when someone is there to learn, he may provide you with good answers and with answers that are not correct. Okay. So this is how you show that you care, show that you want them, encourage them, motivate them, and tell them that if you go the right way, you will have your future, your bright future waiting for you. Motivate them. That hard work pays off. Tell them that if you learn a word today, it may be useful after 20 years from now. And by the way, that's correct. And it happened to me on many occasions. Okay, nice. Si Mohammed Boysen. Is there any question before Si Mohammed's question? Alors, Ustada Zora Tick says bravo, thank you very much. لالغتك فين وصلت؟ Yes. How can we appropriately end up the interview? Well, appropriately end up the interview, it's when you try to provide answers and the jury member will declare the interview over. He or she will thank you for participating. So you say, thank you, I appreciate your this interaction with you. I am glad I had the chance of being of answering your questions. Thank you, and then you leave. Have a good day and draw a smile, and then you leave. That's all. No protocol in this. You do what the person should normally do in that situation. Okay, Si Muhammad. Yeah, okay, Ikram, I read this. Ustad Artimed says, doctor's degree is the beginning of a new learning phase. That's absolutely right. Ustad Artimed, you are absolutely right. You made the point clear. Thank you very much. Yes, Si Muhammad again says, should we highlight our attributes while introducing ourselves? Or should, yeah. شوف, highlighting your attributes means your characteristics as being outstanding. لا ما تقولوش هذا الشيء عافاكم. Never say you are outstanding. Never say that because they see that in your CV. And let them discover that you are outstanding. Rather than showing that there are people, and I can tell you stories of candidates who talked about their research as being the first of its kind. Allah yawd. And that I achieved results that were really outstanding. ما تبقوش تقولوا هذا الشيء. Never say that in the interview because that's tantamount to an arrogant statement. That's arrogance, my friend. Don't say that. Even if it's not arrogance for you, because you want to market yourself, but saying that can have this perlocutionary, effect that you are arrogant. So please don't do that. Let them discover that you are outstanding. Don't highlight your qualities, yes, but not saying I am this, I can do, I am powerful, I am outstanding, I'm excellent. No, please don't do that. Okay. Say Mohammed, well, attributes, yeah. If you are asked, about your attributes, your characteristics, you can say that. You can say it, but don't go to the point of saying that I can transform your institution into paradise. Okay, nice. You can say I'm helpful, I think. But if you are asked, generally we don't highlight. We mention facts about what we did, about our research, about our interests, but not our highlights. Some teachers, some jury members can ask you this question. Okay, in that case, yes, you can highlight that, but not outstanding at the expense of the other. I am the best. No, hadullah. Okay, you can say I am hardworking, I am curious to know, I am zealous, I am enthusiastic, I'm zealous to know. I have motivation. That's the sense of zealous here. I'm enthusiastic, I am ila akhiri. Okay, nice. That's a nice question. Okay, Lamia El-Qahri says, Lamia, sorry, I took time to read your family name. I totally agree, professor. Students have a great sense of feeling, and they are so much sensitive. Yes, 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 yes. Sometimes you can insult a student, and that insult can have an impact on him or her to the extent that they will hate the course, and this can change their trajectory, their academic trajectory altogether. علاش يا سيدي? Why should I contribute to the loss of the this dream of this student? Why? So it's not a good idea at all. It's not a good idea. Why should I insult a student? Why? Why? I can express somehow feelings of anger in certain situations, but هذاك الانجر ما يكونش زعما the anger of insulting a person. No, no, no. You should not. You have to respect, the your students, whoever they are. They need to be respected. And هذه ما خصهاش تكون بعدها اللي بروف الله يخليكم. Some professors might, I say might, I don't know. But some students may misbehave in the middle of the semester. But this should not give you an opportunity to hold a grudge against him so that you track him on the final exam and you have a low grade for him because of what he did before. اسمح لي, this is not a good thing to do at all. Judge students on their performance. You may have a margin of a grade for discipline, participation, etc. You may penalize him there, but do not go intentionally and lower his or her grade because once he I don't know what he did. He did something wrong. No, don't do that again. Okay, thank you. So please don't delete the live. I will not. Amira Ufqir, my outstanding composition student who writes like a professional. Thank you, Professor Amos, for the insightful and engaging session. Your ability to simplify complex ideas and make them practical is truly impressive. Thank you so much, Amira. I'm very glad I hear these things from you. I appreciate the dedication you show in helping us reach our full potential. Thank you very much. Thank you, Amira, for these nice words in my favor. Yabu Rocks says, Professor, would be kind to provide us a brief overview of your own academic journey. I believe it would benefit us. Would you like me to do it here? I can do it, no problem. Anyway, let me, since you asked for it, but I have to have a sip of water first from this bottle. Sorry. Alhamdulillah. Alors, here is my humble academic journey. I was because I was born and brought up in at that time a remote village. I had to move to another city to continue my studies after I got what was then Shahada Ibtidaiya because there was no SETS. So I had to go to a nearby city and then change the city to another one in order to continue my junior high school studies. So there I had to rent on my own and manage my studies. And then after I did what we called section anglaise à l'époque. So I think they are still, the system still continues to be the same. Anyway, I came to Rabat after my baccalaureate. And in Rabat, I studied for 4 years until my 4th year. So I went for linguistics because at that time we had to choose between linguistics and literature. I got my licence degree in 1999 from Mohammed V University. And then I moved to the Faculty of Education where I obtained a DESA diploma, Diplôme des études supérieures et approfondies, which corresponds to the master's today, except that at that time we spent 2 years and 1 semester for research. So I got that in 2002. In 2003, I registered for the doctorate at the Faculty of Education, and in 2006, I got this doctorate. And then I worked for a couple of years as a researcher at an institution, and then I changed. In 2009, I started as a professor at Mohammed V University. Well, I became professeur habilité in 2014 and full professor POS in 2021. My research interests are, motivation research. I work on multilingual education, namely on the concept of translanguage and its application. I also have interest in theoretical linguistics. I have some publications in phonology, morphology, and syntax, and I teach syntax and I teach courses like sometimes Introduction to Linguistics, Semantics and Pragmatics, Composition, Spoken English, and I taught a variety of courses like language and culture at that time, psycholinguistics, and currently I teach second language acquisition at the master's level, and also quantitative data analysis. So this is a summary of what I am of my academic journey. Thank you for your interest in it. If this is going to inspire in any way, that as you said, as you maybe you mentioned that would be good. Okay, so it's good to. And by the way, this is a message not for doctorate students, but for undergrad and maybe master students. Sometimes they know the name of the teacher. Sometimes they don't know even the name. At worst they don't know the name. At best they know just the name. But it's not good because you need to know the name and his or her area of interest, because you probably you might get interested in supervision, or you might seek advice about your research one day. I don't know, but you don't need to know. Apart from the name, you should know about what he or she is interested in. Okay, thank you. So let's. Mohammed Boklifi says, totally agree with you on this experience in the States. And I noticed how they value the smallest achievements. Yes, it's good. It should be a good culture that needs to be installed among professors. So it's high time for us here in Morocco to value each other and appreciate our initiatives as well. Thank you very much. Yes, of course, of course. We learn a lot by appreciating each other, but each other, and then appreciating our students. And when you appreciate the students, make sure it will bounce back to you. That respect will come to you in return. Mohammed Boysan, connections should always be prioritized over content. Watching, what's that? Is purely emotional. I cannot get this. Let's see, Mohammed. Okay, so connections should always be prioritized. Yes, yes, of course. We have what we call the declarative knowledge, procedural knowledge, and a good intellectual is one who can make connections. If that's what you're talking about, see Mohammed Boysan. Okay, Si Abdul Hafid Shradi says, "My God bless you, Professor. You taught us SPSS in the recent evening." Okay, so, Si Abdul Hafid, you are my master student. Thank you very much, Si Abdul Hafid. I'm very glad. I'm glad you are with us here. Thank you so much once again, and I hope what I taught you has been of some use and will be of some use, inshallah, in your future, research endeavors. Nathalie Leblanc, la fameuse Nathalie Leblanc. I don't know this Nathalie Leblanc, but she comes. I don't know whether she is of French origin or. Okay, Nathalie, what is your secret for being insightful? Oh, I don't consider myself as that, but since it comes from people like you, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Well, I cannot say anything about this other than the fact that I love my job to the extent that the closer I get to the classroom, the happier I become. So I really enjoy what I'm doing. The proof is that it's this late and I'm still interacting with this, and skilled. I don't know if I am skilled or not. There are a lot of things that I need to learn, and life is full of learning opportunities. But thank you very much for this word of appreciation in my favor. Thank you very much, Natalie. So we have Ikram here. Can I mention that I write Tiffin? Yes, Ikram. Yeah, anything, because when you say that you write in Tifinagh and you speak the Amazigh language as a native speaker. I don't know why people have this problem. I don't know. I really don't know. هذه ما لقيتش ليها تفسير. There are people who come from an Amazigh speaking area, and on their CVs they say that I master Arabic, French, and English. واخا سيدي. On the day of the interview, you ask him about, I assume that I speak the three varieties. Are you from this village? Yes. Is this village near where you live? Ah, they get surprised. How do you know? Is this singer who uses Lutra, for example? How do you know this? Do you speak Tamazight or Tajwid? Sometimes I ask these questions. And sometimes I even mention a sentence in his or her dialect, and the person gets surprised. And I say, well, you should have written that in your CV. You are a native speaker of Amazigh and you hide that. Are you afraid that people will judge you on being Amazigh? We don't have that in our country, alhamdulillah, very democratic, and we have this plurality, and we have to celebrate this plurality. We have to appreciate the fact that we are, a patchwork of different, cultures of cultures that are fused into what we call Moroccan culture. So why should you withhold the idea that you speak Tarifit or Tamazight or Tashlihit? No, you should be proud of it. And by the way, in your CV, it's part of your linguistic competence. And when you say that you write Tifina, that's what Ikram says. That's an added value. That's an added value for sure. Okay, so I think that's what Ikram has. Can I mention? Yes, you should mention that, of course. Someone says, I'm sorry, no name says, hello dear professor, this is truly an inspiring session and an incredibly helpful source of aspiring teachers. Thank you. Oh, that's a word of appreciation. I wish I knew your name so I would mention you, but you have chosen to hold it the way some people hold Amazigh from their CVs. Thank you very much anyway. Barakallahu fiqh. Si Mohammed, lucky are the students in your hand as an okay. تنمير Si Mohammed. Thank you very much. Don't speak Amazigh. I don't. Even if you don't, Ikram. If you can produce words in Tifina, you need to mention that. That's a script, and not many people. Now many people can do, but not many non-native speakers can write. In Tifina, of course. This is Rana. Hello, Rana. How are you? Ni hao. Because I know that you were in China. I don't know where you are now. Rana was a former student in the master's program and did licence years. Very competent, very smart, and someone who used to speak Chinese. I don't know to what extent has that gone. Rana and her sister, of course. So thank you, Rana, for this appreciable word. And then you have, I don't know why my name is not mentioned. Perhaps you wrote it in Chinese. Check, please. I don't know. Mohammed Bouissa says being an Amazigh has always been a big plus. That's true. Still speaks Chinese and Russian now. Oh, that's really nice. So, wherever the Moroccans... Are you in China, Rana, now? You can update us so that we can know where you are. I don't know why my name is not mentioned. Okay, well, check. So, Rana, have you moved to Russia? I don't know. Tell us. So, boy, Hawks. Okay, Professor, how feasible is it to enroll in a master's program at the age of 20? Do you think that they will tell you that you are underaged? No. If you have your license, go to the master. It's very feasible. The only thing that you need is having the degree, the BA degree, and eligibility, because you take the test and you are evaluated. If you pass, and then who is better than you if you get a master's, if you are in the master's program at 20. That's a very good thing. It means that before you are 28, by 28, you will have defended your doctorate. That's really nice. I wish you all the best. Yeah, boy rocks. Thank you. Okay, Rana is in Cairo, is in Egypt. That's really nice. So enjoy your stay there, Rana. Thank you. Zuhair Izzahwani says, Boysan, in what way is being Amazigh a plus? Well, it's a plus, at least because it's an extra thing that you know. Knowing is better than don't not knowing. Hal plus, هذا هو plus. Okay, as William Labov said, the more we know, the more we find out. There are chances for you to know a language like Amazigh, or for that matter, any other language. The more languages, the broader our mind becomes, and the more we know about grammar and about other aspects of language, of human language. Okay, and it's a plus in other ways, as an assertion of our identity and as a celebration of this Moroccan identity, which is composed of which has an Arabic and an Amazigh, aspect. Okay, nice, good. Are there any other questions, ladies and gentlemen, or any other perhaps comments? I see that. Okay, Mustafa Hassania. Yeah, see Mustafa Hassania as well. That's true. I tried hard to learn it because I had friends from Laayoune and from Dakhla, but more from Laayoune, and they taught me some. But unfortunately, I didn't. It's very interesting to investigate Hassania because it has characteristics that are worth investigating in terms of its phonology, its lexicon, which is closer to Standard Arabic than it is to other dialects, which is really nice. And by the way, in Hassaniya, there is also an Amazigh substratum. That's what makes it interesting. Yeah, so thank you. Hassaniya as well, yes. Just to make you feel old, professor, you taught me composition. I am old, you don't need to make me. Okay, just to make you feel old, professor, you taught me composition last year, and I was born in 2005. Now you are the bucket huh? Okay. So you are so young, yeah, boy rocks. So good luck to you. This is nice to hear. This is nice to hear. Okay, 2005, and you are at this level. This is really interesting. So I wish you a good journey, inshallah, academically. Mustafa Morshid, you seem young. Jak masbara si Mustafa, no? Thank you very much. Thank you. I may appear, as you say, young or relatively young, but I am a bit aged. Okay. Just to make okay. Rana said, Rana, your name has come back now. AI became a problem that I'm facing with my students. Students rely so much on it when it comes to homework. What would be your advice? It's really, really interesting to talk about this. And it's at the same time a big problem that is plaguing the world of academia, not just in Morocco, but in different parts of the world. There are discussions now about this specific issue of how to solve this problem of AI, ChatGPT, for example. For Google, you can still, to the best of my knowledge, you can still find a way, find out whether the student has copied from Google or not. But for ChatGPT, for the moment, and to the best of my knowledge, afiduni, I don't know. But AI is really a big problem. So one solution that I have just thought out over the last weeks, because the exams are drawing near, is to ask questions that are unlikely, to be generated by ChatGPT. For example, when you ask questions that are declarative, just like that, the WH, when, where, how, etc. When you ask students to reproduce what they have read in books, of course, they may resort to ChatGPT, of course. And if you give them a homework like that, they will resort certainly to ChatGPT. No, sorry, I'm saying certainly some students, let's say, some students can resort to ChatGPT and they will make you believe that they did it on their own, and you will praise them. And you see, when you ask synthetic questions or questions about what you covered in class, ChatGPT does not know what you covered in class. You ask them, for example, you give them a situation that they need to react to. I think this may lower the risks. I say lower, not eradicate, but at least mitigate the effect of the use of ChatGPT. And I agree with you, Rana. It's a really, really big problem in this regard. Thank you. Okay. I was in I experienced a situation in outside of the country where this could safely be this was controlled successfully, even on the day of the final exam, where there was a software that wouldn't allow you to open any other window on your computer. That's number one. And that obliges you that so the test will not unlock until you open your camera and you sit clearly. You have clear, you face the camera. And during the time you're taking the exam, remember only one window is open. And if you happen to move just to pick up a pen, the software takes a clip of a few seconds and saves them. And when the teacher comes to correct the papers, they will tell you the software tells you consider these first, just in case there is an act of cheating. You see, for example, you will judge whether the person has just picked up the pen, or he or she has taken a book, or is there someone he or she is talking to, etc. I think this is this is a nice way. I hope we will have similar softwares, like these. Okay, so Rana, I fully agree with you. This is a very challenging problem for the teaching profession in the 21st century, in this part of the 21st century. Okay, thank you, Professor says, yeah, boy rocks. Thank you very much. Ikram says, how long do I spend to improve my level in English from B1 to C1? This will heavily depend on your dedication and your effort. You see, so if you work on a daily basis on this, Ikram, and you, voilà, I have part of of a solution. It's a tip. Try to work on grammar exercises and vocabulary exercises, and do that and redo them and redo them again and redo them again. There is no harm in repeating grammar exercises. In fact, I would say it's the secret of mastering grammar, given my proper experience and the experience of so many people. This is the advice I got from my professors, and it worked. So اللي يبغى يتعلم شي حاجة, you have to do the exercises. شوف, if you rely just on theory, on هذه راها لا رègle ديالها كيف, no. You may know that. La preuve, c'est conditional. Conditional people will say if plus present plus, but when you give them a situation, hardly anyone will answer, or many of them cannot answer, of course. Okay, so exercising, and then exercising. هذا ما فيهاش شي حاجة من غير هادشي. And la continuité aussi. Continue work continuously. Every single day you have to reserve time for that. You see, you have to suffer a little bit with that. And Ikram again, let me tell you, I may sound old school, ولكن هادشي اللي كاين. You need a dictionary, on a paper dictionary. Dictionary كبير or paper, ماشي soft copy. It makes a difference, believe me. An English dictionary, not a bilingual dictionary, you see, and a dictionary that is on paper. For example, I strongly recommend Oxford Learner's Dictionary, Advanced Learner's Dictionary, not the pocket one. Pocket dictionary, it may be useful for a quick, but for someone who is intent on learning the English language, the big version is better. Buy the dictionary and do the exercises. وسترين العجب إن شاء الله. After a few months, maybe within 1 year, you will feel that your level has gone, beyond expectations. Okay, let me see. Ikram, and I will improve it. Okay, fine. Sizuher says, thank you so much for your live session, Professor. We owe you. Thank you very much for this nice word. This is encouraging, of course. Okay, Zuhair says thank you. Okay, so I said, Si Mohammed Boysen says, should we ask the jury members if we can use a PPT? You don't. I'm telling you, you don't. You do not need that. Generally, you don't need the PowerPoint. PowerPoint for a defense. You are there just to interact. So you don't even need to ask them. Well, just if you want to play it on the safe side, just have your computer with your laptop with you, with PowerPoint there. If you are asked, you do it. If not, you don't. That's it. That's it. But generally, jury members during these job interviews do not ask you for a PowerPoint. Okay, nice. Um, Sharif Said says there is a question that many candidates are asked by the jury during the interview, which is what approach does Moroccan educational system adopt? Yes. Okay, nice. Look, thank you, Said, for asking this question. Sometimes, sometimes there are questions that concern the educational system in Morocco, which means you have to know about the key reforms in the country. For example, you need to read the strategic vision باش تعرفوا كيس كي سباس. Strategic vision is a document produced by الهيئة العليا بتاع المجلس الأعلى للتربية والتكوين. La vision stratégique 2015-2030. It's still valid, so you work on it and you read its basic outlines so that you will be able to talk, and you need to know something about the standards-based approach and okay, things to the المقاربة التواصلية, communicative approach. I forgot. You are likely also to be asked about soft skills. So you should know what soft skills are and what importance they have. By the way, you should know about Rosetta Stone. Read about it and you will get the information. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me, gentlemen. Thank you very much for reminding me of this. Yes, you need to know about these things as well. So it's not just about the phonology or phonetics or pronunciation or grammar, but you will probably be asked questions about these reforms. So you should be there to answer the question, show that you have read the document, show that you are aware of at least, if not the details, the outlines of these reforms, of this reform that has taken place, the recent one, articulated in the strategic vision. Okay, thank you. Okay, Lamia Qahri says, at the level of academic research, I would like to know your opinion, Professor, regarding the use of AI, mainly for language editing and improvement. Again, let me tell you, Mrs. Lamia Qahri, I am someone who takes a lot of precautions when it comes to the use of AI for editing. I'd rather edit myself. اسمعي عافاك. اسمعوا كامل. There is a big difference between giving a chapter. Let's talk just about the chapter, and what applies to chapter applies to the whole thesis. Which is better? Is it to give my chapter to someone to read and give it back to me? I mean, when the person gives it back to me, I find a lot of red pen traces there of the red pen saying that you have a problem here, you have a problem of agreement here. Or put the document in a software and have everything done. For me, I'd rather have someone do this for me and enjoy looking at the red pen there. علاش? Because that's a learning opportunity. الآخر ما يعلمكش. يصلح لك, oui, in an artificial way, yes, but I'm sorry. ChatGPT, for example, will not tell you, for example, well, this should not be said in this context. This is not ethical, for example. This is a strong no, it will edit the technical thing, maybe it will edit the reformulation, and I was just talking to a friend and a colleague, and he told me that now, and he's right, the language of ChatGPT now is known. We may not be able to prove it, to say, well, this is taken from here, but the ChatGPT, the syntax of ChatGPT, you see. So returning to the editing thing, I'd rather, you give your paper to someone to edit, than to give it to the machine. You will learn more from your friend who will look at the chapter and give you his responses. And this may be an old school thing. أنا تمام ما كنقولكش the reality, the truth. I'm saying I'm subjective. It's my opinion. والله أعلم. Okay. Thank you. First presentation. Okay, learning by doing. Okay, English, Arabic. Yeah, that's learning by doing, of course. Have I missed anything here? So Lemia, especially when applying. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, when you apply for, they will definitely ask you about these things. See, Sharif. Yes. English and Arabic journey with Hussein. Thanks for the session, Professor Amos. You are welcome, my dear friend. Thank you. Ikram says, and how I will improve my English from B1 to C1. Continuity and continuity. Do a lot of reading to move to, if you want your English to be quote unquote sophisticated, read. There is no secret. Read. Use the dictionary. Read, use the dictionary, and develop a form of love to words, to expressions, to formal expressions. When you read, you may read also from the point of view of a writer. I have a text, for example, here that I am reading for information. There is vocabulary. Yes, when I do this, I reread it and I see whether I would write something like this if I were to be the writer of this. For example, how additional information is presented, how an example is presented, how we conclude, etc. Things like this. So read from the point of view of a reader, but also read from the point of view of a writer. Okay, voila. So let's continue. English and Arabic with Hussein. I am a high school teacher for the third year now, and I feel like my English is going down because I teach basic stuff. What should I do, Professor? Thank you. That's this is something that I hear from so many friends who are at high school and college, I mean junior high school. It's quite normal. If you don't use English, it becomes dormant. It doesn't mean that you lost it, no. But you will be more accustomed to using the basic form of a language, for example, for the simple reason because that you teach it, that this is, you live with this. Okay, in order to solve this problem, if we can call it a problem anyway, if you want to have another type of English which is maybe advanced, and again, the secret is reading. Read and read. Okay, read, not online. I'm sorry, I'm old school. Not online. It's I think that's an assumption. It's not a reality. It's not based on any scientific evidence. But when you have a novel that you read on paper like this, اسمح لي, you both enjoy, and you make your eyes more comfortable because the screen will make the situation monotonous, and you will give up easily on reading on the screen, and use your dictionary. Okay, so read, use your dictionary, paper-based and big version, and English. You see, so that's the way we, and continuity, of course, and takes off on motivation, etc. But since you asked this question, it means that you are motivated. So I wish you all the best, Mr. English and Arabic Journey with Hussein. Mohammed Lazraq says, are there any ministerial policies or guidelines that regulate lecturing at the... Yes, there are, of course, there are regulations, of course, like, well, we can sum them up in the do's and don'ts of a university professor. These are commonsensical now. That's why there are regulations that are commonsensical. There are also department charters, department policies that are developed by the department. There is also this discussion with the head of the department, because you will not be parachuted. You will not come just to a place and you will be left to your own devices. No, there is always someone to follow you and to guide you and to advise you, and okay, so that you will summarize this knowledge about what you should do and what you should not do. Okay, so here I think that not I think, but from my experience, it's so come on time, prepare your lessons beforehand, and treat your students in a nice way, of course, and examine them. شوفوا عفاكم. Examine them on what you did, not on what you did not do. Your questions should be clear. It's unfair, okay, of a professor to ask questions about things that the students have never seen. Okay, so this is something that you need to take into account in order to make sure that you will evaluate the real performance of the student. You cannot evaluate things that you don't know. Okay, nice. So to answer your question, yes, there are, and there is also the department chapter, but please talk to the department head and or to the coordinator, depends on where you are. And talk to your colleagues, and especially during the first 2 months, first semester, let's say first semester, from the beginning to the final exam, ask them about every single move you intend to take. Do not work on your own. That's not good. That will probably lead you into problems. Okay, so Suhail says true. Thank you, Suhail. Yeah, boy rocks says, Professor, do you recommend reading fiction or non-fiction books? Whatever, except that if it's fiction, there are things that, yeah, you can read fiction. I would love to hear you say classics rather than maybe I'm not sure I know about present day fiction, but classics will teach you good English, very good English. You see, Charles Dickens, and you know, Daniel Defoe, and so many, of course, Jane Eyre, the Brontes. You know, these are very sweet novels. They can teach you a lot of things. Just keep reading, read, and read. Okay, nice. So whatever you read, provided that what you read is formal English, is academic. ماشي academic حيت النوفل ما فيه ماشي غير ما فيش غير academic. Academic مثلا, if I read Mark Twain, for example, I may love his style, but when he quotes, for example, Huckleberry, when he talks, then that's another type of English that I should not use, of course. I think you have this awareness. So fiction or non-fiction, just make sure you use your dictionary with it and stop at the words that you think you should learn. And by the way, when you learn a word or an expression, try to use it. It's not enough to learn it and keep it at the back of our minds. Okay, so thank you for this question. Yeah, boy rocks. Ikram, do you advise me to choose literature or linguistics? Ikram, when I receive this question from my students or from different students, my answer is please choose what you like, what you enjoy. Choose what you enjoy, because when you choose what you enjoy, you will excel in it. If you hear to people, to advice from here and there that this will make you, have a good future, this will lead you into a good future, this will not. No. What is taken into account is excellence. That's the only criteria. Be excellent. So in order to be excellent, I should choose what I love, what I like. So Ikram, if you are more into poetry, literary analysis, and maybe also cultural studies, you like these issues, yes, you go for literature. But if you like things like sentence structure, pronunciation, and the rules of grammar, etc., you can go for linguistics. Okay, so the answer is do what you think you will enjoy. الأستاذة سامية معنا هنا ما زال. Thank you very much. The issue does not lie in students using generative AI, but rather in the type of questions posed by the teacher. It's similar to open book exams, having access to books. Yes. You are confirming, أستاذة سامية, what I answered, the way I answered, Rana, I think she's the one who asked this question. Yeah, she is the one who asked this question. So I fully agree with you, and you fully agree with me here. Thank you very much. Okay. So Lamia says, Il Qari says, thank you, dear professor, for answering and delivering such insightful live sessions across various areas of learning. Your expertise and engaging approach have been truly inspiring and enriching. Thank you very much. Really kind of you to say these things about my life. Thank you. Suhail. Suhail, our master student, where have you disappeared, Si Suhail? You got your master and you disappeared. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the topic of teacher training and professional development in higher education? For a doctorate thesis, yes, it's a very good topic. It's a timely topic, and it's an area that is needed in the country. There are studies conducted on this, and I know a few who worked on this, but this will not make it impossible to work on, because you will have your own perspective, your own conclusions. You may embark on the analysis of variables other than the ones that were discussed in previous works. So it's a very good thing to just it may be situated, it may be demanding when it comes to the reading of the existing literature, because there is a lot that has been written on this. So I wish you all the best. Zuhair Izahwani says, AI sometimes may judge correct and irrelevant expressions as incorrect. Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. Sometimes I just ask ChatGPT to answer a question. When I find that well, that's more, that's like a human, that the machine gives me an answer or generates an answer that contains maybe inaccurate information, and I discussed that with a master student a few weeks ago. And she confirmed. She says, yes, this is exactly what happens. I say, no, but when you say but and you correct, you will get the answer. Oh, you are right. I am sorry. I made that mistake. It's true that. So it's not that reliable. Okay. Suhail Hadini says, what are your thoughts on. So I answered you, Suhail. Suhail says again, I went to McNass for a new journey as PhD candidate. I wish you all the best, Suhail, there. I know the colleagues in McNass, so I'm sure you are in good hands. You see, very good reputation. Okay, so under the leadership of the dean, Professor Larouz. So yeah, I wish you all the best. Just do what it takes to do as a doctoral student, and I wish you all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, you have further issues. شفتكم سهرانين معايا اليوم. You like this interaction. So the 32, that I had there, you are still there. Thank you very much. Right. So maybe we can enjoy this 7 minutes or so. If you have, maybe questions to ask, if you have. Can you please answer my question? English Arabic journey with Hussein. Which one, Si Hussein? Would you possibly? Here comes. اسمح لي غادي تسمح لي سي English Arabic journey with Hussein. I have to hail Si Hussein Khattou, my dear friend and colleague, my best friend, in fact. I knew him maybe since 1998, and we have been friends, brothers. You see, since then, and he is an example of a very hardworking professor. Thank you very much, Si Hussein, for joining us here, and I wish you, all the best in everything that you are aspiring for. Barakallahu fik, my dear friend. Okay, yeah, Box, it feels like being in your classroom again. Okay, that's good. It's good to have this feeling. So this will encourage me for maybe further live sessions. Mustafa Morshid says, we are enjoying the discussion. So do I. Thank you so much. Saeed H. Sharif says, very much appreciated, Sinordin. Thank you. Somebody asked me, said that I did not answer his question. Sir Hussein, would you kindly paste your answer again, your question again here? I may have missed it. I'm sorry. So Mustafa Morshi, thank you, Professor. Hajar says, hi, Professor. I want to ask you, please, in which place we're going to be trained to behave as a teacher? Like, I still can't imagine myself as a teacher and how to behave. Okay, Hajar, it seems that you are a recently recruited teacher. I don't know whether it's at high school or at higher education, but the secret is to talk to your colleagues. شوفي انا سي حسين معايا هنايا سي بروفيسور ختو, the great man, the great friend. You know what we used to do, myself and Hussein, when we started working at the higher education institution, the private sector, when we were working on the doctorate? You see, apart from correcting each other's mistakes, we used to attend each other's classes, and we used to give feedback about anything, language, voice, and everything. He used to attend my classes, I used to attend his. That helped us a lot. That person that helped me a lot in looking at the mirror of Professor Tu. Okay, so why can't you do that? Attend each other's classes. There is no harm. It's something that so you will have people, you will have your friends giving you feedback. Feedback اللي هو صادق, ماشي باينتين ولا no. You did this right. I like this. I like this. I didn't like this. Never repeat this. And that's how we become professors. Okay. Thank you once again, Si Hussein. So Hajar, I hope you have heard me. So you can still, so you need to attend with the people, is preferably the people who were there before you. The more experienced, it's normal. This feeling that you have is quite normal. And over a period of time, you will evolve into a very professional teacher, and you will enjoy your professional, career, inshallah. I wish you all the best, Hajar. Rana says it comes naturally. I don't know what comes naturally. Is it something, maybe you reacted to something I said before? Same thing for Saeed says that's true. Okay. Abdul Jalil, Mr. Abdul Jalil. You have a mistake in your name in Tifina, Si Abdul Jalil. It's not Abdul Jalil, it's Abdul Jalil. So you have to have the there, not the ah. Ah is French. Okay, Si Abdul Jalil, thanks, Professor, for this live session. What do you think about incorporating corpora like COCA or BNC in COCA, in BNC, in teaching, especially in higher education? I'm afraid I can't answer this question. I'm not familiar with these corpora that you're talking about, but in higher education, you have a syllabus to cover it in the best way possible, in an error-free manner, with exercises to your students. If you teach composition, don't just theorize, ask them to read and correct, and then you will be there successful. But I'm afraid I cannot talk about COCA and BNC corpora. I'm sorry. So Hajar, I'm still a student in my second year. Okay, so keep this advice until after you are recruited. This is a good omen for you, Hajar. This is a good, a forerunner of your being a teacher, inshallah. I wish you all the best. See English Arabic Journey with Hussein. I am a high school teacher and I feel like I'm an English background one. I answered you, my friend. I answered you, my friend. I took time to answer this question. Please go back to this live session after, because it will be there anyway. And then look, because I spent enough time discussing that. So the thing is that you have to keep reading, and you have to keep, abreast of your dictionary, as frequently as you can. Buy a big dictionary, an English dictionary, read a lot, use words so when you learn a new word, try to use it on the nearest occasion. So, but for further details about the answer to this question, I would invite you to go back to the live after it has been posted. It looks easy when you are a student, but yeah, it's true. It looks easy when you are a student. And it also, there is this wrong assumption about university professors that they have a lot of time off. No. I used to think that university professors have a lot of time off. It's not at all the case. So many tasks. Sometimes we don't know what a holiday is, what a weekend is. It's like that. Okay, fine. So actually, they will never teach us how to behave as teachers. No, they will. Don't lose hope in people. Okay, Abdullah. Shakra, I am a Yemeni student and I admire your way of explaining. Thank you, Mr. Abdullah. You are welcome. And تحية لإخواننا اليمنيين and all the people who are following or follow us from the different parts of the world. Thank you very much for this nice, comment. Okay, Hajar, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Mr. Suhail. Thank you for your valuable efforts and guidance once again, Professor. Much appreciated. You are most welcome. See Hadini, Hadini. I remember when I asked you about this name, during your defense. Asma Her, please stay active on YouTube. We appreciate your insights. Thank you very much. I will. Thank you. Natalie Leblanc, whose identity we don't know. Very interesting lecture. I have learned a lot. Glad that you have learned a lot, Natalie. Thank you so much. We'll go back, Professor. Thank you, C. Arabic. Sir Hussein, I know you, Sir Hussein. You were in the program, the master's program, I guess. Okay, thank you, Professor. And Zuhair, when he says, call it a night, guys, let's keep this for another time. Okay, could we attend your classes? These are classes. I deliver lectures. The lectures I deliver in the class are the ones I deliver here. So, I don't know. Are you in Morocco, Si Abdullah? I don't know. Okay, so anyway, this live has reached 3 hours, and it's really it's appreciable that you have sustained these 3 hours with me in this live. I'm very happy, honestly, and I'm encouraged to continue. As you can see, for me, 39 is already richness. I'm not looking for views or anything. So, the intention is just to share these ideas with you and provide the pieces of advice that I believe are worth sharing with you. All right. As for developing my style, I believe that reading works on style. Yeah, that will help you because reading works on stylistic devices. By the way, I can even organize sessions just to discuss stylistics. It's a course I taught for a number of years. I think it was a 4 or 5 years. For a 4 or 5 year period, I taught stylistics, and then another colleague took over. Yeah, we can still discuss this. And yeah, when you know stylistics, you develop meta knowledge that is really helpful. When you know about the rhetorical devices, the stylistic devices, and what they are used for and what they are not, when you know, and what purpose, what function they have, when you know about the type of diction, when you know about the vocabulary and its nature, the semantic fields, and so on and so forth, of course, we develop meta language necessary for you know for the improvement of your linguistic competence. Okay, Abdullah Shakra is in Rabat University. Okay, nice. So Suhail says, yes, please. Perhaps Suhail is alluding to what I said about stylistics with great pleasure, but we will finish syntax first, and there will be occasions because the exams are drawing near. So I will be meeting you more frequently. So I'll have 1 week for phonology, and I will finish what we do in syntax here, and we can start other things, of course. Okay, مرحبا أستاذ جلسوا 5 hours. Thank you very much. Ustad Zainab is with us. Thank you, Ustad Zainab. Ustad Zainab is a specialist in Arabic. She is a teacher trainer, but she is also an excellent user of English. She got her license in English with an outstanding grade. She is really outstanding, nice person. Thank you very much for joining us, Ustad Zainab. Thank you very much for Professor. She says, Hajar, Professor, could you give us some names of writers that we can read? I don't like classic novels. Yes. Shof, I can give you the first novel that impressed me, from which I learned a lot of vocabulary, is George Orwell, Animal Farm. George Orwell. Wow, I really liked it. Is it because it's my first novel? Maybe. But I do have this good memory with this novel by George Orwell. A lot of vocabulary, a lot of nice formal good vocabulary. So you can already start, but don't buy the abridged version, because novels can be sold in an abridged version. It means simplified version, and in the original version. Buy the original one, and you will see. Okay. Thank you. I don't enjoy it actually. Well, so you can try George Orwell Animal Farm. Start with it, and the more novels will come up. Okay. Thank you very much. Abdul Jalil says, thanks for your valuable answers. Kindly asking about your opinion about corpus linguistics. What do you think about it? Corpus linguistics for research, yes, you can do research in corpus linguistics. This is somehow because it's not just, it will not be helpful just in linguistics, but also those who want to, for example, computer engineers who want to digitalize dictionaries, and to it's not just digitalizing dictionaries, but to lematize, that's the word that they say, sentences, and they need to know about morphemes, the occurrence and the frequencies of morphemes. So it's not just for linguistics, but also for computer engineering. Okay, so it has other uses, of course, especially for researchers. So that's what I think about corpus linguistics. Okay, Hajar, my professor, gave us the same novel, and I will think. Okay, so that's good. So you start with it. Okay, thank you. In the absence of someone, a friend here has said, let's call it a session or a live. Well, so it's 3 hours plus some 5 minutes or so. Thank you very much for following this live. You are still 33 here. I have just I just have a request for those of you who can, of course. Would you kindly share the link to this YouTube channel with the friends you think can be interested? So there will be a combination of teaching, of advice, of teaching content courses, in linguistics, especially in statistics, and we will also introduce work on language. So I will not forget our students at S3 and S2, S1. So we can still, discuss things that have to do with language, components. Voila. So please share and react, like, because this will help the algorithm to show these videos to more people. With this, I would like to call this live, to call it a live, to call it an evening, to call it a day. Okay, and I hope, okay, so we have Suhail asking one last question before we bid farewell. Suhail says, one last question, Professor, concerning my PhD topic. Okay. I'm still unsure whether to continue working on the topic of soft skills, as you suggested before, or shift to another topic. Waha. This will move me into the discussion of a phenomenon. It's really phenomenal. That's phenomenal. It's phenomenal because it's recurrent among so many doctoral students. This, okay, syndrome of changing topics. Please don't change your topics. Don't change your topics. Don't change your topics. Because when you change your topic, be sure that after 1 year, 6 months, 8 months, you will realize that you shouldn't have changed the topic, that you need another topic, and you will keep on changing. Please don't. My advice, don't change your topic. Whatever topic you choose, it's researchable, especially if it's approved by the supervisor. Why are you going to choose the topic? No. You will not be judged on anything other than whether you did that correctly or not, whether you followed the steps or not. Why would you choose the topic? I'm sorry, but this is Suhail, I say no, don't change your topic. Why are you going to waste all this effort in thinking up the topic, doing readings, and later on you will change it? No, it's just I'm sorry to tell you this. Khadija says, Hindar says, thank you so much. So very informative. Thank you. Barakallahu Fik. Asma her says, Asma her. And content about stylistics as well, please. Inshallah, inshallah. Yes, of course. Mustafa Moshi, thanks a lot for the very informative presentation. Thank you very much, everyone. It's high time we, stopped this very interesting and very interactive live session. Thank you very much, and let's meet on another occasion, inshallah. Bye bye, everyone. So your stream will stop immediately. Yes, yes, yes. You end it.